Well, we welcome you inside North Bay Memorial Gardens. It is the Owen Sound Attack coming to visit the North Bay Battalion. Here, it is the second home game of the preseason and the final home game of the preseason, the third of four total, as they will be finishing off the preseason on the 23rd in 2 weeks' time. As in Owen Sound, I am Ben Sargent. Alongside with me is Ben Long, and it's going to be Ben Squared today. Ben, how are you doing?
Get my mic going. I'm doing good here. A little technical difficulties at the last minute, but seems everything's going fine now. Yeah, doing good. Happy to be here for another preseason game to watch the troops take on Owen Sound this time.
Very interesting preseason so far, as they started off with a 7-2, a big 7-2 loss here in the Gardens against Ottawa, where they were up. They were tied 2-2 going into the second, and then gave up 5 goals in that final period, but came back with a gutsy 5-4 win, able to hold on at the last second, despite 2 very late-minute goals against Ottawa as well. What have you seen so far this preseason?
I mean, that's the preseason is you never know what you're going to see. You're going to see a combination of lines you wouldn't normally see. You'd see guys who are trying to make their spot on the team playing, and maybe some guys who aren't going to be making the team playing. So end results, you can't really draw any comparisons. What I can say is the last game we saw is the first line who are players who are going to be on the team for sure. It was Wakely, it was, I'm blanking on who was playing with them, Romani, and Erdl were playing together.
Well, no Romani in the lineup today, as it looks like that top line is going to be the new acquisition Cook with Arnsby and Procession potentially. Could be starting off. Van Steitzel, Wakely, Bouchard make up a line. Then there's the rookie line there of Kostic, Richter, and Amadovsky. Amadovsky getting some time last year. Chase Spence McQueen on the left wing in the fourth line. He has a couple goals this preseason. Laird and Forgione with him as well. So kind of a different offensive line than or offensive setting that we saw last year, but a couple of big names out of the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's always going to be in preseason though, right? And you let some of the new guys have a chance, let the regular guys wait for regular season. And yes, you can't take something out, but we saw some good action out of them last time, and we'll see what we see today. I'm hoping for more of the same.
Well, why don't we just throw over to the players to watch today? Our players to watch brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. For the Battalion, we have goaltender Dom Divinchentis making his first preseason appearance here. Coming back, of course, from Winnipeg camp as well. On the other side, we have Colby Barlow. Barlow, of course, has in 118 games, 76 goals in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yeah, both of them are, star players projected to be NHL players in the not-so-distant future. But in the present, we get to the excitement of seeing them today now face off against each other, which they'll be teammates at some prospects games coming up. You had told me what the name was, and I kept saying prospects tournament.
Yeah, it's the Futures prospect game. He'll be going out there next week, as they'll be playing against him alongside actually another the WHL goaltender of the year out there.
Yeah.
Who I can't think of his name right now. We'll get it back. But quickly, we're going to throw off to break as they do the national anthems. When we come back, it'll be the Owen Sound Attack and the North Bay Battalion preseason action here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food. Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
As we welcome you back here to Memorial Gardens, we are just about set to get going between the Owen Sound Attack and the North Bay Battalion. The Battalion are going to be in their home whites, as it'll be Arnsby, the new guy Bryce Cook from Mississauga, acquired just at the end of last month, and Ian Procession on the top line with Mathurnan and Nelson in the back. Of course, Dom DiVincentis in between the nets, as we said earlier. Barlow, Gundin, and Hookie out there offensively as the puck is dropped and we're underway. Defensively, Sedley, Machacek there as there's a start off. Here's Procession, and it's picked up by Machacek. Down over to Sedley here in the Owen Sound zone, as now it's brought up by the attack. Coming up, here's Barlow, another guy, of course, our player to watch, as it's picked up by Nelson now in the Battalion corner, and Procession now has it on along the boards, and there's Captain Liam Arnsby getting it up, and now Mathurin brings it through, and he dumps it in as he gets brought down. Here's Sedley for the attack, bringing it back up. He goes around his man there, Cook, and now it's picked up by Nelson in their own zone. Nelson is going to bring it up for the Battalion as he comes through neutral ice. His pass to Cook is not in time. He gives a little push to Lawrence on the other side as he leaves. And now it's Owen Sound trying to get things going again. And now it's given up, and here's an opportunity. Wakely almost had a great chance as Bouchard almost stole it back for the Battalion, and now the Battalion regained possession in their own zone. That's Turley. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year, as he'll be playing along with Wyatt Kennedy, who last year as a rookie played a lot for the Battalion, and now the Battalion can't get the puck out, but as it's now back in behind the net, taken by Kennedy. Kennedy up against the wall, and back come the Battalion the other way as it's dumped in by Van Stietzel, who had one heck of a playoff performance, as he really didn't put a lot of points on the board, but he had a lot of great intangibles. Him and Pasquale Zito really the heart of the Battalion there, as in come the Owen Sound attack, brought up here by Lawrence. Lawrence, an opportunity as his pass isn't good, and now he has it down in the corner. He's being roughed up a bit by Kennedy. That line's been out quite a bit as it's picked up, and now here's Tersini. Tersini brings it around. Here's a chance. Owen Sound a shot. It's blocked by Turley, and now it's Wakely behind the Battalion net. Dallin Wakely him and Romani looking to have huge years after, again, the Battalion didn't have a great opportunity as it goes down for icing as they lose a lot of offensive. And let's talk about the ins and outs for the Battalion this year. Out is Kyle Jackson, Josh Bloom, Taras Savage, and Matvey Petrov, a couple of big key players, especially those like the Petrovs, Jacksons, and Blooms.
Yeah, so they're losing a lot, but what they're gaining is guys that I think will be taking big steps here. Wakely on the ice that we're seeing right now. I think Romani's in for another season of big steps ahead as well.
There was a shot off the draw, but it's deflected wide, and the Battalion looking to come up the other way, and now it's brought out, and it brings it up here for Turley. Turley trying to join the rush. He had Kostic with him, but not able to make it. Kostic, of course, one of the newest additions for the Battalion through the draft. Pretty solid start here for the Battalion. A couple of good chances either way. No shot counter, though, so we're not able to see how many shots are on goal, but so far it's been a pretty back-and-forth game as Richter taking the face-off for the Battalion. He wins it. Richter, this is the young line of Richter, Kostic, and Amadovsky. As now it's brought up by Dylan Richter. Over for Kostic. Kostic trying to break out again for the Battalion. And now the Battalion trying to get the puck out of their own zone. And now here's an opportunity as it's brought up. And here's Richter, and his stopped by George as he's just able to cover up.
Yeah, he was just about to sneak through there for that play, and he was just held up for a little second and gave the goalie a chance to cover it up before he could get to it for a play. But, you know, that's what I like seeing about some of these games, is that it's you get to see a lot of guys making chances, trying to show that they belong here, and you get to see some fancy plays you may not see in the regular season.
17:23 left to go. The first almost 2.5 minutes gone here. Richter taking the faceoff again for the Battalion up against Barlow, and Barlow wins it. and it's brought back down there for Sam Effia. And now it's brought down. It's going to be all the way down for an icing call, and the Battalion will have another offensive zone face-off here.
Yeah, and one thing that I've seen in the message boards a lot for the Battalion fan groups is a lot of people are looking forward to seeing when we're going to see Nelson out there, when we're going to see Dom DiVincenzo out there, and we get to see them today, so I'm excited about that. You can see Barlow, who's, we talked about pre-game. He's a exciting prospect to watch as well.
Gooden taking the face-off. He loses it to Richter. Here's Nelson, a shot, and it was deflected a little bit, but not enough as George is there with Saw.
Yeah, and I always like seeing goalies in preseason because, half the time they don't have a chance. The defense the team doesn't have their systems put together, but you get to see goalies having to make some acrobatic, remarkable saves. So
exactly. Speaking of Ty Nelson, by the way, he's also playing in his first preseason game since 2021 in his very first preseason. Now here's an opportunity as the puck is stolen, and the Battalion, as it's brought back, here's an opportunity for Kostic, but can't get it out. Nelson now at the point. Over to Mathurin. Now Kostic, a chance. It goes off his skates. Here's another chance. Lewandowski, shot goes wide. Kostic, another chance. And that one also goes wide as the young line is trying to make their mark here early for Ryan Houlihan's team. And now Barlow brings up. He's going to break the other way, but he's going to have to dump it in and go off for a change. Great offensive pressure there from the Battalion here in the last 2 minutes or so. Now it's brought up the other way by Mathurin. Hopefully we're going to see a full season of him. He was out pretty much the entire season last year, got them back in the playoffs. And now here's an opportunity for Owen Sound. The shot off the post. Another opportunity. Scores! That was Caleb Lawrence on the rebound, and Owen Sound takes a very early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that was an odd bounce off the post for the first shot to come back out right to a guy all on his own. And I thought maybe we were going to get to see one of those miraculous saves as Dom got across the net in an awful hurry there in a remarkable splits position that I think I would be injured for a year if I did.
Well, Declan Waddick took the initial shot as he came out of nowhere and just stole that puck right from the Battalion defensively. It went right off the post, high over the blocker of Dom. And, of course, Caleb Lawrence, who's had a pretty good start to this game, puts it in the back of the net. So they'll try it again as here's now Turley behind defensively. Of course, you can't put too much thought into the preseason as it's really a big time for these guys to get kind of their bearings. As
and you're seeing people who, this may not be the team that we see come starting game.
Yeah, hopefully it's not when you consider a lot of some of the big guys aren't playing, but it's great to see some of the young guys. The puck's behind the Owen Sound net as now Owen Sound controlling it in their own zone as there's Tersini. And Tersini just dumps it back into the zone. And Dom comes out to play it. He fumbles it. Tersini has the puck, and the puck's loose and is down, and Dom is there to cover up almost a mistake there as he went out to play it. And him and Tersini and Kennedy were all around the puck, but it ends up going underneath the North Bay goaltender.
Yeah, and Risman that we saw a bit of last year in Powassan is out there again this year, and I'm not sure whether we're expecting to see more of him, but he looked good in the last game that we saw here where he was playing. He played pretty stably, so we might see more of him this year, and he can be a tough guy to play against.
Yeah, for sure, as they line up for the faceoffs, won by the Battalion. Now it's behind the net. That's Gallivan, another new face for North Bay as it's brought all the way down, and it's going to go for icing as Procession kind of gets into it a little bit there on a late hit on Toss Jordan.
Yeah, they were both racing for it, and I thought maybe Procession was close to getting it beat out, but he didn't have the step advantage that you need for them to call off the whistle, and we end up back in North Bay's end.
So 15:24 to go here in this first period. One of the big changes here for the OHL this season, of course, is there's going to now be two breaks in the action, two advertising breaks now, trying to get closer to what they do in the NHL where there's 3. So that's going to come up pretty soon, give or take, as the Battalion break out once again. Here's an opportunity in front. Here's a chance, and that was Bryce Cook, the newcomer from Mississauga, with almost a great opportunity. Of course, again, that top line, him with Captain Liam Arnsby and Ethan Procession in his second campaign with the Battalion. Now the Battalion have it back in their own zone, and it's off. Cook almost gets a chance as Petrovsky steals it on the other side for Owen Sound. Now the puck is played in the neutral zone, picked up by Cook. Cook's got Arnsby, and here's an opportunity. He shoots, and it's stopped by George, as that was Brett Bouchard coming off the bench with a great opportunity. Bouchard also in his second season. Didn't get to play too much last season, had his opportunities, but is going to look to make more of an impact here with with more opportunities, of course, as it's dumped in by Mathurin. Wakely now has the puck at the side of the net. He's fighting with the attack defenders, and now the attack break up. Here's Barlow. Barlow coming up, but he's stopped at the line, and his pass goes over there for Sedley, and it's brought down behind the zone. Trying to get it back to the post here, and there's a chance. A shot deflected, stopped by DiVincentis. Sedley keeps it in. And now Owen Sound continues. The puck's kind of bouncing around there on the side boards, and it's picked up there by Hookie. And now it's brought over. Here's a chance, a shot, and that's blocked. As now a penalty coming up to the Battalion. And we'll have to take a look to see. It's going to be a trip, and we're going to see who's going to be. It looks like it'll be Mathurin going off for that one. So 14 minutes to go, 6 minutes into this game. 1-0 Owen Sound, and they're going to go off to an early power play.
Yeah, and that's a trip that you don't want to be taking in your own end, but what's one that made, and he blocked. He went down, blocked the shot, and he looked pretty injured by the end there.
So the Battalion, who had the best penalty kill in the Ontario Hockey League last season, will get a chance to see what they can do here. Arnsby takes the face-off. The 11s go after it, but it's won by Gooden. Gooden now a shot stopped by Dom, and now the Battalion are just going to be able to get it out. And they'll have to restart once again. Mathurin, of course, going off for hooking just now. So we'll see how Owen Sound can try to add to their 1-0 lead here early on in the first period. Talked about Dom getting his first start of the preseason here. It was McIver and Robertson who were in the last couple of games. McIver started the last game. Robertson was in for that 7-2 game. And now here's an opportunity. Arnsby almost broke through there as it was misplayed there as Petrovsky's back there for the attack. Petrovsky's with Sedley, and now Sedley's got it. As Sedley tries to bring it in. His pass to Hookie almost looked like it might have been offside, but they say it's onside. Here's Petrovsky. He brings it over. Barlow shot it off of deflection and goes wide, and now the Battalion try to get it off, and they just can as Petrovsky can't keep it in the zone. It's now back into the neutral zone. 1 minute to go here in the penalty as they've killed off half of the tripping call to Mathurin, and the Owen Sound attack now bring it back into their own zone as they try to get back going. Toss Jordan with it as he leaves it there, and it's brought up now by Declan Waddick. Waddick, who had the assist on that opening goal. His shot went off the post before Caleb Lawrence put it in, and now here's Waddick again. His shot is stopped by Dom. That now his fifth save of the hockey game as Lawrence has it. Lawrence tries to leave it, and almost an opportunity there for Kostic to break free. Now here's a shot. It goes through traffic, but ends up going wide. Good pressure here from the attack. Lawrence now comes over, and it's brought in. Here's an opportunity. Shot stopped. The puck's loose. It's right there. And they couldn't be brought in by the Owen Sound attack, and now the puck is loose again, and finally the whistle goes, and there's some shoving after it as a great opportunity there from Tersini, who was on the doorstep but just couldn't put it, and it keeps it a 1-0 game.
Yeah, it's been a good power play on behalf of the attack, but we saw in the first half of it, Arnsby almost got a breakout on a breakaway, and I think we're going to see a lot of great penalty killing from him this year. We're definitely going to miss Tarasevich, who was basically the number one penalty killer along with Arnsby.
Well, I was going to say Tarasevich, that's what he did. He always kind of stole the puck near the blue line, would get on a breakaway. He led the team in shorthanded goals, and I believe he was either tied or led the league in shorthanded goals as well. I can't remember if he led it.
I believe he was tied with Bloom for North Bay and the league.
But he was either way it was very close. So there's 12 seconds to go, 12-13 to go in this period. As now there's blows the tire is the youngster Gallivan, and it allows the attack to try to build something up here, but Steen dumps it in, and now the Battalion are going to hopefully be able to get it out, as there was Amadovsky, the youngster who played a couple games with the Battalion late last season, and now here come back the attack. Here's a chance in front, and almost a great opportunity there for Addy to put the attack ahead 2-0. The penalty is now over, and we're back to 5-on-5. Puck comes all the way back to the blue line there, and that's Machacek as he dumps it back in, but it's taken by Gallivan. Gallivan's pass is really bad as he gives it away, and now Steen has it for the attack of the Battalion blue line. Battalion now being smothered in their own zone as now they're finally able to get out. There's McQueen Spence as he tries to push it ahead to Procession. Just out of his reach. Procession, a huge hit. Oh my, what a huge hit on Matichak as he sends it into the benches, as Tom Martineau almost got laid out there alongside another photographer as well. And now that puck deflects and goes out of play. And we're going to take a quick break as our first of two periods comes back. You're watching Average Joe's Frontline Game Day broadcast.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
All right, Ben, so what have we seen so far as we're roughly around the halfway mark of this first period?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some good chances go both ways. So far, Owen Sound's really had most of the pressure, but having had a penalty in that time or a power play in that time as well has definitely helped their cause. Yeah, I think we've seen some good pressure going the other way though as well, and if North Bay can kind of turn it around, I think this game could be, easily flip the score.
That's been a very kind of a lot of pressure from Owen Sound, kind of back and forth so far, but Owen Sound off that power penalty to Mathern had a lot of opportunities. Just quickly want to say if you're enjoying the broadcast, as always, you can always go over to patreon.com/thefrontline podcast and support us there as well. Obviously, just watching us is a big support. Helps us get sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to throw a couple of extra dollars per month our way, always appreciate it. Again, that's patreon.com/thefrontline podcast. So, play back underway. Owen Sound here in the Battalion offensive zone. 11 minutes to go in this opening period. Shots are 8-4 in favor of the attack. They're 0 for 1 on the power play so far. Battalion have had 0 chances, and they are up 1-0. Here comes back the Battalion. Here's Lard with a chance. And it is he's bumped off the puck, but Battalion still have a chance in front. And that was a great opportunity by Forgeon, another newcomer to this Battalion team. Here's Nelson at the corner. At the blue line. His shot goes wide, deflects off the back boards, and Carter George is there to cover up.
So that Patreon address is not our actual address, and I'm not finding our actual address because I thought that's what it was as well. We'll update that.
Okay.
But
I went there earlier. That's what it said up at the bar, so I apologize there. We'll get you the right information there as we posted it in the chat. As here's a right off the draw. Shot is blocked, goes wide. A lot of blocked shots so far early on in this hockey game. As here's Bredman trying to get it up, and he's knocked off the puck as it's brought back the other way by Brett Bouchard. Puck behind the net. Wakely fighting for it. Wakely now an assistant captain for this team. Very well-deserved as he had one heck of a season, back-to-back 30-goal campaigns. And now here's a chance. Here's Brennan breaking out. He's got a man with him. His pass, though, is over the stick of Jake Crawford as Crawford now regains possession. He brings it back to the point. And now the puck is still loose. It's bobbling between a couple of players. And now finally it comes out to the Battalion and they break out. Here's Bouchard up the wing. Bouchard sends it in and just on the right side of the ice of the red line, so no icing there. And now here's Brendan the other way. He's had a really good shift here for the attack. Alongside, he's got Addy with him, and his pass, though, meets nobody, and the Battalion are now able to pick it up in their own zone as there is pressure here from Cedric Gooden, but nothing comes of it as the Battalion breakout yet again. Now here's Van Stietzel. He gets it out, and the Battalion not able to break through so far as they've been trying to play that chip and chase game. Really good neutral zone game so far from the attack as now the attack come the other way. Here's an opportunity. A shot from Barlow is blocked well by Gallivan. Now here's Ethan Procession with it as he drops it back for Tyson Risman, the Powassan Voodoo, who had a pretty decent campaign. Unfortunately, ended up going injured near the end of the season. And here come back the Battalion on the other way. Here's Procession. Procession with it as he drops it back to Mathurin. His shot is off Procession and ends up weakly going to the slot in a great stick there by Cook as Procession is trying to get off the ice, and now it comes back the other way for Goonan, and his shot from Barlow is off the stick of Mathurin and goes wide. And now it comes back to the point for Sedley, that top defensive pairing out there for the Battalion, as Dom can't handle that weak shot attempt as it goes off his stick, and he's not able to cover it with the glove. And now the Battalion looking to break out again, but Cook can't quite do it. He's going to go off for a change as he was out there for quite a while. Now coming the other way, there's Burrows. Burrows, a shot stopped off the blocker, and almost another very dangerous rebound given up by Dom off the blocker's side. Now the Battalion have it behind, again, their own net. They've been really stuck in their own zone here, and here's another opportunity as the attack shoot, and that was Declan Waddick with a shot that goes wide. Again, Owen Sound not allowing the Battalion to break out in any way, and now a shot goes off of Kostic and out of play in the Battalion zone, so they'll have to take the face-off in North Bay zone.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever saw a puck go off a back and out, but it's first for everything, I guess. And just for a note on the other thing, it's Frontline Podcast,
Perfect.
not the Frontline Podcast.
Frontline Podcast. I was close.
Patreon.com/Frontline Podcast.
There you go.
I was like, yeah, that's what it is. That is not what it is. There is no the in it.
8 minutes to go here in this opening frame. Kostic really putting a lot of pressure on his man as he tries to break through the neutral zone. Now here's Nancy. Nancy gets it over to Jordan as he dumps it into the Battalion zone. Now there's some pushing and shoving there between Rismond and Tersini, and now the Battalion break away yet again. Here's another opportunity. Here's a chance, a shot coming from Kostic, and it goes wide. Amadovsky behind as he plays with Gallivan, as he was covering for him who was up on the rush. Now here's another chance from Kostic. Kostic leaves it, a shot, stopped by George. A really good opportunity there from Amadovsky. But George, again, looking pretty solid on 6 shots so far.
Yeah, he's looking really good. Kostic is looking really good out there. That shift, he was all over the puck flying. You know, if he doesn't have a full-time spot on this team, which, judging by his full visor, I'm guessing he probably doesn't yet.
Yeah.
He's very close to earning it, I think.
Yeah, a pretty good showing here from the youngsters. Gallivan's looked very good on the defensive design. Kostic has had his moments as well. And now Mathurna that's Turley almost gives the puck away as he's playing there with Nelson in the back. As Ulan changing his lines, his defensive pairings up just a little bit there as Nelson now plays. And now Sedley keeps it in. That shot goes off of Forgione, and it's kept in. As now the Battalion look to break out again, and a bad pass from Nelson as he gives it up to Brennan. Now here's an opportunity for the attack, another chance, and that was Nico Addy, who had a great opportunity, and the Battalion try once again to break out, but they're not able to get their neutral zone game going as it's been a lot of chip and chase back into the attack zone. So that puck is stolen by Lard in the neutral zone, then a bad pass from Kennedy, and now here's an opportunity for the attack again, a shot coming in from Jake Crawford is gloved down by DiVincentis with 6:15 to go in the opening frame.
Yeah, and I mean, there was that one goal that Dom let in that he didn't have much of a chance on. He was kind of hung out to dry there, but he's looked very solid since that, and before that he was too. So we have quite a goaltending display here for us today.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting goaltender discussion as well. Dom, hopefully, knock on wood, will be going to the World Juniors in around Christmas time, which will give Robertson and McIver some time. But it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with the Robertson McIver stuff. With you doing a lot of the Voodoo games, is McIver starting in Powassan this season?
He's not in Powassan.
Very interesting. Of course, Don DiRoccolo has done a great job for them as well.
Yeah, they have 3 goalies now, and all of them have looked pretty good in what we've seen so far.
Powassan won their home opener 5-0 as their season has just started, and the Battalion breakout. Here's Wakely as he brings it into the zone. Here's the pass over to Bouchard. Shot stopped by George. So far, George hasn't had to face any super tough shots, but as I say that, Wakely with a blast that goes wide. Wakely, another opportunity. His pass, looking for Van Stietzel, is sticked down and not able to make it as Ethia is going to dump it in. And now the Battalion looking to break out. On their side, here's Wakely. Dallin Wakely brings it over for Cook. Bryce Cook shot stopped on the blocker by Carter George. And now there's a chance. Risman, the puck goes by him, and now here's a breakout. Here's the opportunity here for Waddick. Waddick shot stopped by Dom. Rebound chance. And that one goes way high and outside. The shot from the assistant captain there, Henry Nancy, as we will take another quick break. As we said again, 2 breaks per period this season for the OHL. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Man, these 2 breaks are really kind of messing with the vibe here. It's going to be weird to get used to that.
It is, and I tell you from my end, we don't have entirely hammered out what's going where yet. Mm-hmm. So I know myself and Matt have been doing the main discussions about it with Courtney with some input too. But one thing I tell you for sure is we do have spots open for advertising. Yep. So if you're looking, you'd like to hear your name being played or advertising for your business on here, get in contact with us because we do have a few limited, but a few more spots available.
Awesome. Well, 5:04 to go. 13-8 the shots in favor of Owen Sound. They are up 1-0 as it was the goal from Caleb Lawrence off a Declan Waddick shot that hit off the post that gave Owen Sound the attack. Sorry, not the attack, to give them the lead. As the puck is dropped and play resumes here in the Battalion zone. As here's Ty Nelson. He's looked a little shaky today with a couple of missed passes, but that's to be expected as he's getting back into the pace of the OHL, his first preseason game of the year. And here's an opportunity. Ethan Procession right at the side of the net. And now here's a shot that goes off of a body in front, and Cook is not able to pick it up, and back come Owen Sound. Waddick will just send it back in, and it'll be Nelson who picks it up. Nelson's pass in front, just off the stick of Procession. Nice Procession out there now with Cook and Arnsby. And now here's Owen Sound trying to get in there. Here's Tansini, his shot over to Sedley. Sedley shot, or a pass, sorry, as looked like he was going to shoot, decided to pass over to Cormier, but that is deflected out of play.
Yeah, and like you're saying there about the passes, when you've been playing all year with guys, you know what people are going to do. It's easy to make the pass where you know they're going to be. In preseason, you have a bunch of guys you've never played with before and you may never play with again.
And he's coming from Seattle camp as well, where the
they haven't head out there yet.
Or sorry, they haven't gone out there, but he has. I know he's done some work with them a little bit in the summer, so it's a different pace as well.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of getting in the flow and getting a group of guys together with some chemistry.
So Battalion trying to get in the zone. They can't do it. Here's Mathurin. Mathurin now playing with Kennedy as Turley's gone on with Nelson. So Ulahan trying to maybe put a little bit more rookie veteranship in the back end as now the play is blown down.
Yeah, and I know last year they like to shift the defense pairings around a lot as well. So I think that's going to be something we're going to see all year is more of that where that's not necessarily a pairing out, but they want one guy out to cover a guy on the other team, and then they're just kind of rotating around, which is, a whole strategy to have to keep track of in itself.
3:52 to go in the first period. As the faceoff's won by the attack in their own zone, and the clearing attempt's not good as Turley's able to keep it. Turley again out there with Nelson as it's now brought up back the other way by Owen Sound, but nothing going there as Brennan couldn't start the breakout. Turley now with it in his own zone, but it's stolen away from him. Another turnover from the Battalion in their own zone. But they're able to gain it back as there's McQueen Spence who picks it up in his own zone. Now Nelson tries to bring it in as he brings it up to Laird. Laird, sorry. As Laird tries to bring it in, and now George is going to play behind his own net. A lot of new names this season for the Battalion, so it's a learning curve for all of us as it's brought out for Owen Sound again. There's Addy trying to bring it out as Turley loses his glove, and now here's a 3-on-2 opportunity. Crawford, his shot as he fans on it, and Nelson now has about 3 Owen Sound players around him as he tries to deke out of it, and finally will get it out to McQueen Spence. A couple of goals so far in the preseason for McQueen Spence is, again, him and Amidovsky both got call-ups late in the season for the Battalion. He's had a couple of regular season opportunities with this club as there's Gallivan as he brings it up, and in come the Battalion on the other side. Bouchard trying to break through. Bouchard, the puck is going to roll all the way through the slot to George, and he's going to hold on for the whistle. 2:37 to go.
Yeah, and that was a great play by Bouchard trying to get through there. Had he gotten that pass off where it's just a little bit rolling, but had he got it off, it would have been a 2-on-1 with Wakely and Van Steensel.
Bouchard,
I'm looking forward to seeing Van Steensel, the steps that he's taken forward this year, because last year, especially towards the end of the year, he was dangerous.
Now there's a shot from the point by Tyson Risman, but it's easily stopped as no traffic in front. And we talked about, as you were saying, with people taking steps forward, Bouchard looking really solid. He didn't get a lot of playing time. Terrian was kind of out of the rookies, other than Procession. Between the two of them, Terrian kind of got more looks, but Bouchard looking pretty strong here as Terrian not in the lineup here. As here's Barlow now trying to break out the attack the other way. That one now, clearing attempts now blocked, and here's an opportunity for Van Steetsel. Van Steetsel's shot is going to go off the stick of Steen, and George is just going to hold on as it was almost looking like he might have a great opportunity there to prove you right.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to make me look like a genius right off the hop, but not so this year.
We have to remember about 300 points, give or take, the Battalion have lost when you combine like McDonald and Bloom and Petrov and Jackson. So and we were saying, I was saying this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago on our last episode. It's going to be very interesting because obviously Romani and Wakely are going to take huge step forwards, but they're going to have to find something. And I think Bryce Cook is going to be the start of that. Hasn't gotten a lot of points in the OHL, but he could have a great opportunity with the Battalion this year.
Yeah, it seems like there's some inside information about Cook in just that guys that previously played with him in minor hockey. Some of the scouting staff knew him coming up too. So there may be some inside knowledge about steps that he could be taking forward that maybe just didn't happen for whatever reason.
There's Arnsby with a blast right into the chest of of George, as Cook was the one who makes the play. Now he's kind of getting into it with the Owen Sound defense.
Yeah, and Arnsby's another player that I'm really excited to see more of this year. He's just a great all-round team player, a great leader.
Yep.
But I think he has an underrated shot as well. So I think we might start with not as deep of a scoring pool. We're start to see guys like him. We're going to see Wakely getting more of the trigger man role.
Yep.
So I think some of those goals that were missing from last year are going to be fairly easily made up. Maybe not all, but at least a portion.
Yeah, he of course had a huge goal in Game 2 against Peterborough, that late game winner that tied that series up at 1. And here's now the puck is in the Battalion zone as they weren't able to get anything going in the offensive zone. Cook's trying to break out now here with Kennedy, but his pass to the neutral zone goes right into the skates of Lawrence, and now he's able to pick it up and dump it all the way down, and they go off for a change as now Kennedy picks it up at the side boards as it wraps all the way around. His pass, and that's a weird bounce for that puck to take, as now Barlow has it on kind of a lucky bounce, and his pass in front is stolen, and bringing it all the way up, that was Amadovsky. His pass over to Richter not quite in line, and now Richter's going to have it down at the zone, at the below the red line. And now here's an opportunity as it breaks out, and here's Hookie a chance, and he's brought down, and that's going to be a penalty to Nelson, I believe.
I don't
or
think
maybe
it is.
Maybe not.
But that was quite a play by Nelson, who was at least one zone behind Hookie when he got the puck, and he caught back up to him to get there to take that chance away.
He did. Hookie didn't have a lot of room to make some moves as the puck ended up just kind of finding its way to Dom, but it looked, at least from this angle, that it looked like Nelson got his stick kind of hooked into his midsection, but I guess it was not enough to get a penalty. I was thinking for a second, my first immediate reaction was penalty shot from the way it looked. But
from what I saw, it looked like he actually got stick on puck, which would have negated the penalty.
We have a slightly different angle this year, a little bit more towards the visiting side. Now here's a shot right into the glove of Dom as a one-timer off the stick of Ben Cormier. His glove down. 1 minute to go here in this opening period. 16-12 the shots. Owen Sound up 1-0.
Yeah. It's been a close game. Look at the shots. The shots are 12-16, so that's nearly a tie game in terms of shots on. Owen Sound got a lucky bounce to be up by 1, but both goalies have been playing great. Both teams are putting some good chances on him.
Bouchard breaking out again here for the Battalion, but he's got a big, as there's a big hit on him by Jordan. He just missed his mark, or else that would have been an even bigger hit as he gets his shoulder up right into his chest. And now back the other way is Petrovsky as he drops it there for Cormier. Petrovsky fans on the shot, and the puck goes down in the corner, and now there's fighting there in the corner between a bunch of red and white shirts. And now here's a shot opportunity is stopped. That was Tersini as he gets out just at the hash marks. Again, another shot right into the body of Dom and Ben. One of the things that's going to be interesting going into the rest of this game is there going to be a bit more of a tighten up from both of these teams in terms of some of these turnovers that have happened in the neutral zone and in their own zone?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the coaches on both sides are going to want to see them tighten up those plays, make your passes a little crisper. I don't know if I expect it to go that way, though.
It's going to be a very interesting season for the Battalion this year. 30 seconds to go in this period as they're going to try to get all the way back to the finals and just fell short in a heartbreaking series against the Peterborough Peach. Really could have went to the Memorial Cup with the way that London was. Not that they were a bad team, but the Battalion had such a deep roster. But either way, it was not to be. 10 seconds to go in this period as it just played in the neutral zone and dumped into the Battalion zone. Now with 5 seconds to go, it's dumped back the other way. Arnsby knocks it aside, and that'll do it for the opening frame. So the Owen Sound attack right in the first half of that period get ahead with an early 1-0 lead. We're going to take a break, come back for our first period intermission. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
Well, we welcome you back here to the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's. We are through one period of play. It is 1-0 Owen Sound as the shots on goal 17-12 in favor of the attack. We have a special guest. You know him well, Mr. Gordon Kenny. He's going to be joining us here as it's a very busy booth now, as he's going to be joining us here as his mic is not even up.
Yeah, we had the wrong mic. What's going on there, producer Ben?
It's tough life being color and producer, but it is what it is.
We have another guest coming in here.
Oh, do we?
Oh, and we have another. We have way too many people in here.
Oh,
now.
look at him. It's the Garrison from the Harrison who's going to pop in and take over for Ben.
All right, so I talk the most.
How'd you get roped into this?
And now I have to do the most amount of talking.
Here, I'll take over.
No, it's okay. It's
hockey.
Okay.
Hockey happened.
All right, so we're through one period of play. What did you guys see in that first period? We'll start with Harrison, as he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's amped.
Well, I was sitting in Section 5 there, and I saw Tanias make an awesome block. Then followed up by a penalty. But no, the penalty kill looks really solid. The troops were getting lots of breakout chances. Their passing in the offensive zone was looking really good comparatively to in their defensive zone, where that could use some work. But all in all, improvements from what we've seen over the past 2 games against Ottawa, and looking really good moving forward.
Yeah, and what did you see in that first period?
Well, they started off a little sloppy, I found, in the first of it. I think Dom looked a little bit rusty, but he found his game as the period went on. He made some big saves. Although one thing that came back to bite him from that Peterborough series is side-to-side movement hasn't been all that strong since then. That's how he got victimized on that first goal, unfortunately. But and also, I have to say, for his first game since that Peterborough series, first real game, what a defensive play by Ty Nelson on the bad pass in the offensive zone that came back, led to the breakaway. Nelson, with speed to burn down the ice, absolutely took away a chance from the Owen Sound player. I mean, Dom still had to make a save, but it was nowhere near the type of chance that would have been if Nelson hadn't come out of nowhere and just absolutely made the Owen Sound player look silly.
I was sure that was a penalty too at first, and it looked like the referee was pointing at him, and then he didn't, I was like, penalty shot, let's go.
Well, that's the impressive part about it, is that he did it without drawing creating a penalty. But whether or not it should have been or shouldn't have been, we'll let the guys in stripes decide that one. But overall, yeah, been a bit of a wonky period. I mean, Owen Sound was out shooting them badly at first, and now the Battalion have kind of brought it back. Not even, but close.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Nelson. This is his first preseason game since his rookie season in 2021. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was looking at it because I'm like, I don't know if Nelson or Dom is going to be here. I was looking at their stats pregame, and I was like, wow, Nelson hasn't even played. This is his first preseason game, which is
and you know
very
what? Last year worked out pretty good for him not playing any preseason games. So
hopefully that's not a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed was definitely it just felt a little sloppy out there from both sides. But what do you think that both teams have to do to tighten things up?
Well, I think the battalion, and Harrison kind of touched on this a little bit with their defensive passing, really need to kind of make it more crisp tape to tape. There was one pass there, I believe it was Tyson Risman, that kind of a little bit off the tape a little bit, and it led to a chance for Owen Sound. But yeah, just their defensive play of the battalion doesn't really feel there. And Owen Sound to me has played a pretty tight game. Their goalie George right now, Carter George, is absolutely standing on his head as well on some of those saves. He made some difficult ones, so I don't really know if I have much to critique with Owen Sound, but the big thing I'll say is the chemistry for the battalion doesn't really seem to be there yet. But again, it is preseason hockey, so it's kind of, you're mixing, mingling, all these guys in and out of the lineup. So I'm not overly concerned about chemistry, but when they're out there and they're making passes that last year they were making, you're kind of like, come on, guys, like. So that's really all I can say about that.
Yeah, well, you're essentially playing with 3 different rosters across 3 different games, so you're going to have those mix-ups. But all in all, compared to the previous 2 games, things have been looking a lot tighter so far, and especially as the period went on. Shots are only 5 differential compared to being significantly more across the previous 2 games. And as you said, Dom really found his form. That glove that we know he's excellent for has been here in full effect in the last half of the first.
Yeah, he's looking like a Gold Glover out there for sure.
Yeah, and we talked about chemistry, and it's kind of interesting. Of course, huge turnover for the battalion this year, especially in the front. Looking at this preseason lineup, you have Kostas, Richter, and Amidovsky, that kind of rookie line going on. What have you guys seen from them? They've played quite a few minutes so far.
Liam Amidovsky has looked fantastic so far here throughout the preseason. He's been really good at getting open for passes and physical in those board battles. I saw in yesterday's Ottawa game that he was looking very solid and looked really good when he was back in his own zone on the back check. It was really good to see that from Liam, and he had his first appearance late in the season, that would be the second appearance late in the season against Niagara, and he looked solid there. Didn't look like he was missing a step, and that's carrying over to this preseason as well.
Yeah, and he scored a goal in that little brief cup of coffee with the battalion last year. Richter played a couple of games as well, so I mean, there's 2 guys off that line. And then Carter Kostic, he looked lost to me in the first game against the 67s. He looks more sure of himself in this one, but he's still making those mistakes because you're adjusting on the fly to the speed, right? You got to think about it. He just played AAA hockey, U16. Now he's making the jump to major junior hockey. I don't care who you are, unless you're a Connor Bedard. The jumps up between leagues, there's always a bit of a learning period, and thankfully he's doing it now and not in the regular season. But he has looked more solid today. I didn't unfortunately watch the game yesterday, Harrison, so I can't comment on if he played or looked yesterday, but today he looks better than he did on Wednesday, for sure.
I'll tell you one person who looks really good is Declan Gallivan, one of the newest, another new addition for the battalion, and I think he's, for a young guy, kind of coming into his rookie season, I don't know how much time he's going to play with the battalion this season. He's looked very good in that back end.
Yeah, he has, Sioux Thunderbird product. That's where he's playing this year at least. He's looked great. I think the thing for him, and I think for anybody on the back end, unless your name's Tanias Mathurin, Ty Nelson, Paul Christopoulos.
Yep.
You're fighting for a spot at this point. Wyatt Kennedy, I can throw in that list too. So the top 4 is pretty much set. So you're fighting. You have Braden Turley, who probably has the inside track to a job because he was with the team last year. Tyson Risman, Declan Gallivan, and if I'm missing anyone else, I'm sorry.
Well, Kennedy, did you put Kennedy in the top 4?
I put Kennedy in the top 4.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you got 3 solid defenders fighting for 2 spots, essentially, on this team. And Gallivan, like you said, he made some good plays in that period, and he looked a little nervous his first couple of shifts. He slammed into the boards and fell. But other than that, I think he's had himself a great first 20 minutes.
All right, Harrison, what you got for us?
What do I got for you? Well, looking into this next period, it's going to be essential that the battalion are able to capitalize on those chances. Sometimes you run into a hot tendy, somehow even in the preseason. Owen Sound's been looking very good, getting back, surrounding North Bay, so they need to make space for themselves, make sure those passes are connecting and getting something on the board here. And it looked like they were turning around on that towards the end of this period.
Just to add on to that, it wouldn't be a North Bay Battalion game if they didn't run into a hot goaltender.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of par for the course.
Well, let's talk quickly some of the ins and outs, like some of the people that they've gained and lost. The main people, Of course, one of the big outs recently was Tarasevic. We saw Arnsby almost get one of the classic Tarasevic breakouts earlier in that when they were on the penalty kill.
As soon as he did that, I was like, wait a sec, he's not wearing 12.
So he went to Ottawa for a 6th round draft pick for next year. Oshawa. My bad. My eyesight's terrible. His lot went over to
We're
Guelph.
all wearing glasses in here, Ben. You got contacts on.
Yeah, they don't work. His lot went out to Guelph right after we did that.
I know.
That episode with Adam Dennis. Before it went out. It was between the time when we recorded and when it went out.
Yeah.
So he went for.
He would have given us a heads up.
For 3
Adam.
For 3 draft picks. And then, of course, the big hitters, the Jackson Blooms, Petrovs, and McDonald's, all leaving as well. The biggest acquisition
and
coming.
Alex Lukin as well.
And Lukin as well. I totally forgot about Lukin when you were talking about defense.
No.
And he had a really good season last year, too.
Yeah, he did.
But on the in is Bryce Cook. So how are we feeling with the newcomers versus the people who are leaving?
Well, they're losing, as you mentioned, a lot. You're losing, a lot of offense with Tarasevic, Jackson, Bloom, and McDonald. And Petrov. Petrov had almost, I think he had 97 points last year. McDonald, if he would have been healthy, would have scored over 60. Kyle Jackson's a good playmaker. Josh Bloom came in here, set the world on fire before petering off a little bit as the season went on. Nikita Tarasevic, one of the best penalty killers we've seen in North Bay Battalion history. Right up there with Barclay Goodrow, I would say. All that stuff's going to be tough. And then Braden Hislop brought a lot of, calmness to the back end when he came in, especially a defense in flux at that time because of the injuries. And then Alex Lukin, who they thought they were getting back. When he left, he seemed like he was coming back here, and then he, got home for the first time in 2 years and was kind of gonna. I think I'm gonna stay in Russia, I guess. So hard to argue with that, especially with everything going on over there. But yeah, that's a lot of great players that you're losing. That being said, this team still has a lot of great players with Dallin Wakely, Ty Nelson, Paul Christopoulos, Liam Arnsby. The list goes on and on. It's the new guys. How are they going to fit in? Like Carter Kostic, Richter, Amidovsky, those guys, how are they going to fit in? Are they going to be able to bring in the depth scoring? Because you got to think last year when the battalion had the top 3 lines, your top 3 centers were Zito, Arnsby, and Wakely. Well, now you're likely going to have Arnsby and Wakely or Arnsby and Zito as your top 2 lines. So you're already losing depth on the bottom 6.
Yep.
So it comes down to, can these guys step into the bottom 6 and do a great job of it, or are they going to struggle out of the gate? And that's really going to dictate how the battalion start their season.
Yeah, and that was one of the key things about last year's team was their depth. It was whose line is it anywhere, where the positions don't matter and the points do, but you could get anybody slotting into any position and it would feel pretty fluid. This year it feels like it's going to be a lot more nitpicky who's going to be paired with who and who's going to have to step up to the plate in certain roles. Now, Anthony Romani so far this year, he looked fantastic last year, but I think he's going to have to step up to the plate even more to carry a bit more of that load heading into this season.
3 points so far, 2 goals in those 2 games.
Him and Dallin Wakely really found some good chemistry, especially in the playoffs together. And last year, that was kind of the theme of the battalion was a little Limp Bizkit. You just keep rolling. So there's my terrible Limp Bizkit joke of the day.
Oh my God! I didn't even know you listen to Limp Bizkit.
Dude,
anyways,
it's the second broadcast in a row I made a Limp Bizkit joke.
As we're winding down to the start of the second period, this season, of course.
You're telling me you don't listen to Limp Bizkit?
No.
This is the difference between someone who's sophisticated and someone who's not.
Coming into this season, what are the predictions for, what would be a successful campaign for the North Bay Battalion realistically when you consider, those ins and outs that they've had in the offseason?
I love these hot take ones, so I'm going to let Harrison take the first one to get the most heat.
Nothing less than the finals.
Yeah.
Honestly, they still have a lot of those key pieces. They've learned a lot of those lessons. You need to get there when you still have Dom, when you still have Nelson, while you still have Romani and Arnsby. Those guys together, you need to put that into effect, and you need to make the run that you know you can make. I see nothing less than the finals or an overall league win as the goal this year. Otherwise, you're basically in a rebuild.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with Harrison on this one. I think at the end of the year, even though there's still a lot of questions, there's a lot more question marks going into this year than there were last year. But at the end of the day, I still think the Battalion are going to be a top 4 team in the East. I think At the end of the year, we're going to see another Central Division banner going up in the rafters, and I think we're going to see a couple of more as well. I think they're going to get over that hump because they're going to be hungry to do so. And I also think, that, like Harrison said, anything short of the finals appearance at the least will be disappointing. I mean, we heard it from some of the players last year that anything short of a finals appearance would be a disappointment, and well, guess what? They were short of a finals appearance by 1 win.
All right, well, we're just about getting ready to go. Thank you, Harrison. Thank you, Courtney. I'm sure we'll see one or both of you, who knows, in the next intermission there as well. But
keep rolling.
Either way, when we come back, we'll have the second period. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Well, we welcome you back in here to Memorial Gardens. It's 1-0 Owen Sound after 20 minutes of play. Shots 17-12 in favor of the attack. As we get set, of course, the Battalion ramping up just about 2.5 weeks away from the season opener against Barrie on the 28th. They'll then play the next night here on the 29th against Barrie again in a back-to-back game, as that'll be their home opener and our first broadcast of the season, which will be extremely exciting to get the Battalion season off and running as the puck is dropped and we're starting off as it was Arnsby versus Gundan on the face-off, and it's won by Owen Sound as it's brought now into the Battalion zone, dumped in. Gundan coming up against Nelson, and now Barlow keeps it. But his attempt to go back to the point is stolen and now brought back up. Here's Ethan Procession. The pass from Cook. Procession just able to dump it in. He's going up against Sedley. Procession playing Sedley on the body, and now back come the attack the other way. And now here comes a chance for Procession. His shot is stopped by George. A great chance as the puck slipped out for Ethan Procession, and he almost put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, that play started off with a nice hit from Arnsby that you see that he could hear the boards rattle through the whole building, and then Procession got a nice chance out in front, and had he got it up just a couple more inches, it might have been over the glove.
So Arnsby will go up against Lawrence in the face-off dot. The face-off's won by Arnsby, and it's kept in by Nelson. Nelson, the shot, it goes off his stick and goes wide as Arnsby's bumped off the puck, and Owen Sound now trying to get it out as Cook lights the body, and Arnsby, a huge hit. He takes down Mathurin and his man, Declan Waddick, and now they're fighting for it on the sideboards in the Owen Sound zone. As now Arnsby gets thrown down by Waddick, as I'm sure we're going to see more of that, and now it goes off the stick of Procession and Waddick and out of play, so it'll be another face-off here in the Owen Sound zone.
Yeah, there was some rough stuff going on there, and sometimes you see a lot of that in preseason with guys trying to show the coaches that they can, bring a physical presence and add something to the game. If maybe their skill level isn't up, they want to show that they can be physically a presence. Sometimes you don't see it as much in preseason because guys aren't wanting to get hurt before the regular season.
Well, here's a breakout on the other side. Tsingi coming in. As that was Tersini not able to break through, and now he has it at the sideboards. Tersini now trying to get it back to the point as he gets it over to Petrovsky, and now here's Jordan. Jordan fakes the shot, goes to the pass, And now it's brought back the other way by the Battalion, trying to get out of their zone. Jordan keeps it in. His shot is a weak one that goes off of Dom's leg. And now they're fighting for it on the near side as Wakely's able to bring it. And now the Battalion, again, trying to get out of their zone. They just can't. And now finally it's Turley as he gets a little bit of a push there on Nancy. And now here's an opportunity, and Wakely almost had a great opportunity, but it's deflected. A good job by Petrovsky to get a stick on it, and now Wakely still skating around the Owen Sound zone with it as he goes all the way to the blue line and back down, and now here's Gallivan. Gallivan trying to get it in front into the slot. The puck is loose. Bouchard just couldn't get a stick on it. And now again, the Battalion able to keep it. Van Stietzel going back, and now a whistle as the referee behind the zone, behind the play, is going to call a hook on, I believe it's the Battalion. And we're going to have to take a look to see who's going off. It looks like it's going to be Nelson.
Well, that's an interesting call.
I did not see what happened there. It was, again, it was the referee behind the play, but now it actually looks like it's that Van Stietzel, I believe. Yep, Van Stietzel going off for that hook.
I did not see the hook, but apparently the ref did.
Well, it definitely happened off the puck, though. Not very often do you see the trailing referee call a penalty in the offensive zone, but either way, Gundin versus Arnsby as it's won by Owen Sound, and now they get an opportunity. Now here's going a chance. Nelson putting good pressure up the front. Now it's brought all the way down for Hookie. Hookie gets it back for Barlow. Barlow passes over to Sedley. Now Petrovsky. This is the second opportunity. They're 0 for 1 on the power play so far, as now Sedley tries to get the puck back, and now it's going to skip all the way out, and Petrovsky's going to have to bring it back into his own zone. Speaking of Barlow, our player to watch, of course, him and Dom are teammates now for Winnipeg, as Barlow, who's been absolutely fantastic in the Ontario Hockey League, 18th overall in the first round of the last year's draft. Now here's an opportunity shot, and Gundin's his shot goes just wide, and now the puck skips over Petrovsky's stick and goes all the way down, as chasing after it is Ferroni. As apparently I can't speak today, and now his helmet gets knocked off and he goes off to the bench. And now Turley, good defensive play as he stops, and now it's been all the way back. 1 minute to go in this in the Van Stietzel hooking call. And now Owen Sound has it behind their own net. They're trying to set up their power play once again. Lawrence brings it up, and now Amidovsky almost steals the puck from him. And Owen Sound again not able to get out of their own zone. Good pressure here from the Battalion. As Laird takes a tumble, and now Owen Sound able to get it. Lawrence getting it over to Jordan, and now in the Battalion zone. Good play by Laird as he's able to knock Jordan off the puck, and now it's brought all the way back. And with 15 seconds to go, that'll probably be it for this penalty to Van Stietzel, as George is able to play it up for Jordan. Now gets it over to Lawrence. Lawrence, he's got Cormier with him, but he can't get a shot off as the pass was not quite on his stick, and now McQueen Spence gets the puck out. Now back in as Van Stietzel comes out of the box. Is this penalty over? Now he just leaves it for McQueen Spence. McQueen Spence able to break through, and now here's an opportunity for Kostic, but his shot attempt goes well high and wide, and it will be looks like an offensive zone draw, as it looked like it took a deflection. Yeah,
and Kostic is back out there making a big play, and we've seen him doing those all game, and hopefully he gets paid off for it. Going the other way, we saw Gwendon get a lot of chances against North Bay on that power play. He's looking really good out there.
He's looked good in the faceoff dot as well, as we don't have any super advanced statistics, but him and Arnsby have lined up a couple of times. And now it's in the Battalion zone as it goes all the way back to the blue line, and they try to keep it in. And now here's a chance for Crawford. His shot, though, is it's a good stick by the Battalion, and now it comes back the other way. Van Stietzel fighting for it, as that was Waddick now trying to bring it up. And now here's an opportunity here for Brennan. Brennan bringing it in for the attack. Brennan's pass back to the point, as now here's Matacek. Matacek's shot's blocked as that goes off the skate of Van Stietzel. Now goes back to the point. The shot goes wide, as that was from Steen. Puck coming all the way around. Now a chance in front. A good chance from Crawford as he's able to control it. Back to Steen. Now to Matacek. Matishek trying to get over to Steen, and a really good stick there off of Tyson Rismond to put that one out of play for a whistle.
Yeah, that one off the stick went up in a hurry and right out. And those are one of those ones where that was making such a loop, I don't think it's going to hurt anyone, and someone would have got a nice, take home a puck after a hockey game is always a good time, but they got to be thinking for safety of people, where keep those nets up and keep people safe.
5 minutes gone here in the second period. Still 1-0 Owen Sound as Cook trying to bring it up. His shot goes off the boards. And now another weird bounce as Michael the Battalion waits. Here's a chance for Arnsby. The captain has it down in the corner, and now he brings it up for Nelson. Nelson over. He's back with Mathurin. So that pairing back together now here in this second period as now Cook trying to play. Now the puck comes loose. Here's an opportunity for Procession. His shot's good. Save from George as he's able to slide across and keep the puck out of the net. Procession doing a really good job in this shift as he's not able to keep possession, and now coming back the other way. Here's Tersini for the attack. He breaks through. Tersini tries to break past Nelson, but he's not able to, and now Cook with a good stick as he's fighting down in the corner with Nancy, and now it comes out, and here's Nelson trying to bring it the other way for the Battalion. Arnsby. Procession goes off for a change, so there's going to be a slightly different change as Bouchard comes on for him. Here's Arnsby in front. And a good opportunity for Cook, but again, not able to get some space in the slot for the Battalion as they've been trying to force that puck in there, as now Tersini just dumps it into the Battalion zone. And the attack get the change that they so desperately wanted. As now it goes all the way down for icing. And we're going to take a quick break. So the first period break here, it's 1-0 1-0 Owen Sound. We're in the second period. You're listening to the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
So far as we are in the second period here, about 6 minutes gone. 1-0 still Owen Sound. What have we seen in the first 6 minutes of this period, Ben?
Well, with the power play, Owen Sound had a lot of good chances. Gwendon looked really good. Barlow looked good out there. And the big thing is anytime North has got the puck going back the other way, George has looked really good down in his net. Dom's been solid for North Bay, as we've come to expect and rely on. I've really liked the look of how, Arnsby's had a couple really good shifts out there. Kostic, to me, still is one of the guys that just keeps standing out that I wasn't sure what we should be expecting from him this year, but it looks like he's going to be good to go.
Well, it'll be Gundin versus Wakely in the zone, and Wakely's going to win it as he sends it back and for Turley, but he's not able to hold it, so Owen Sound will keep possession as Hookie almost had a good opportunity as Nelson now plays it back for Kennedy. Kennedy plays it over to Bouchard. Bouchard trying to break out now. Here's Wakely. Wakely, he's got Van Steetzl with him. Van Steetzl now up the sideboards. Tries to get over to Wakely, but it goes off his skate, and he's not able to control it. Now Owen Sound tries to go back the other way. Barlow trying to break out his man. Wakely's able to stay on side. That's a tip opportunity for Van Steetzl. Goes just wide. Nice little play back for Bouchard. Bouchard now playing it. Tries to get it again into that slot, but it's not working for the Battalion as they keep trying to force the puck into the middle of the ice, and now here's Gundin coming back the other way for Owen Sound. Turley makes a good defensive play to keep him, to keep that opportunity from happening, and now Kennedy also playing down in that corner. There's a good little poke check from Van Steetzl to get the puck over to Bouchard. Bouchard's pass to Van Steetzl is just out of his range. He'll go off for a change. Sedley's going to play it up for Waddick. Waddick, nobody was around. Waddick shot right into the body of DiVincentis as he gets the glove up in front, and it's a harmless rebound. Now played by Amidovsky. He's going to bring it up. Nelson now. Sure he's going to want to try to make something happen. He usually does when the Battalion are in this opportunity, and this one's going to go all the way down. It's not. It just goes off for icing as it looked like it was going to go into the pads of DiVincentis.
Yeah, that was that was probably the most extreme case of a goalie not wanting to touch a potential icing. And I guess the rules changed since I last paid attention to icing rules, because I thought if it went through the blue paint, it was no longer called icing. But that was clearly through the blue paint, and it was still called icing.
Well, it looked like he was going to come to play it out. It didn't look like it had enough legs, but it was able to get there as there's 8 minutes gone in the second period. The puck is brought up. Risman's able to bring it down, but then he's knocked off the puck. Risman still has it. And now the Battalion in the neutral zone, Amidovsky. He's trying to get it up there for Kostic, but not able to handle it. Owen Sound now comes back the other way. Almost a good play there from Burrows, but he's not able to get around Rismond. And now Battalion again in their own zone. Amidovsky passes it over. Bad pass, though. Gallivan can't handle it, and now Burrows has a really good opportunity here, but he gets the puck knocked off, and now coming back the other way is Kostic. Kostic bringing it up. He's trying to do it all himself. He gets around his defender, and now here's opportunity, Amidovsky, but he can't get a shot away. Again, Owen Sound doing a really good job in that slot area. Now a bad giveaway. Here's Lawrence. Lawrence with a chance as Gallivan gives the puck away. He's got a man wide open, but he can't get the puck over there. And now here comes the other way. Here's Ty Nelson. He's got McQueen Spence with him. Nelson. Is he going to? Let's see what he does. He takes the shot. It's right off the pad of George. As it still seems like the Battalion a little undecisive as they still try to get that chemistry going. And now Nelson's going to try to play it down in the corner, and the puck comes loose, and it's going to be Mathurin grabbing it. Mathurin now played with a couple of attack on him. It was Cormier and Nancy fighting for the puck, and now it comes out for Nelson. Nelson plays it back to his partner Mathurin. Mathurin tries to play it up there for Jonah, but he can, and now it comes out. Here's a great opportunity from Nancy, but he can't quite get the shot off, and now Cormier with a shot that he's not able to get a good stick on it, and it goes wide. And now still behind the net is Tersini, and Tersini, he's getting bullied a little bit there by Mathurin as he's not able to make a play, and now Etchie lets the puck go out of the zone. And Owen Sound will now just dump it back into the corner. Cormier was offside, so they're going to have to play, and Owen Sound going for a full change. Nelson trying to get them to break out, but the pass is not quite there for Laird, and now McQueen Spence is just going to flip it up so they can get a change. And the Battalion now have fresh legs on the ice. So Jordan trying to start the breakout here for Owen Sound. As now here's Petrovsky. Petrovsky's pass not quite good enough to get into Crawford's stick, and now the puck is going to be brought back up by the Battalion the other way. Arnsby, he's going to get it up to Cook. Cook, and he's just offside with 9:38 to go. Cook's looked pretty solid so far in this hockey game.
Yeah, I've been impressed. And when that trade was announced, I wasn't sure what we would see out of him. He had a limited body of work last year, and he had a decent first season in the OHL. So I don't even remember seeing him when he was for Mississauga last year, and I don't remember seeing him play in any of the games that we watched.
Well, it looks like Addy is going off. I did not see the penalty get called.
No, I
thought it was
either.
offside. Apparently, it was a delayed penalty.
There was an offside. It might have been something called after the play, though.
Nico Addy's in the box, so we'll have to wait to see what he got called for there. But even though it was offside, it goes into the offensive zone for an offensive zone faceoff. So the Battalion with their first opportunity. Owen Sound 0 for 2 on the power play. Battalion their opportunity. Arnsby's out there to take the faceoff. He's going to win it. And now Arnsby behind the Owen Sound bench. Net. Arnsby's going to leave it there for Kennedy, and now Kennedy gives it over to Turley, over to Arnsby. He's out there with Cook and Procession, and now that shot from Arnsby goes off Procession as Procession was trying to be the guy in front to try to get George's eyesight off the puck, and now it's going to be brought all the way down from the attack as they are able to clear. Dom's going to play it on the other side, and now his pass almost goes out of play, but it's just off the top of the glass, and now a pass opportunity hits off Procession's stick, and Turley just offside, so the Battalion will have to try that again. A couple of opportunities there for the Battalion on the power play early on.
Yeah, and like Arnsby never got first power play minutes in the last couple years, but he's one of those players where he could be there. They've had such an embarrassment of riches that they haven't had to put him there, and I think we might start to see some of that this year. We're seeing Procession out there with him, and he's going to be good too.
Yeah, face-off won by the Battalion, but it goes all the way back in their own zone. There's a minute 12 to go in the penalty to Addy. 8:45 to go in the second period. Still 1-0 Owen Sound. No goal scoring in this period so far as Wakely tries to break out and start the rush as he finds his man up the wing. That was Van Steitzel, I believe, along with him, as now Wakely has it in the corner. Van Steitzel and Bouchard out there with Wakely offensively. Mathurin and Nelson on the back end. Interesting to see Turley and Kennedy out there in the first power play unit as well, getting some minutes in there. Of course, when you look at some of the guys that they lost, like Winslow, and on the back end, there's going to be some places up for grabs, as now Mathurin takes it all the way into the offensive zone, and that goes off the stick of Jordan and out of play.
Yeah, there's a lot of important spots that are open. I think there's a lot of guys who maybe didn't get those chances in the last couple seasons because of the mentioned depth that are going to get a look at it, and but it also gives opportunity for younger guys, the newer guys, to be out there. As we see a new line out again of rookies, Kostic. Can't see who else out there with him. Amidovsky and Richter.
It looks like they're just using their normal lines as well, not doing anything super special, as power play was something that the Battalion had some issues with last year. They're hoping that changes their fortunes. Gallivan now, his pass over, as now Richter falls over, and now there's Gallivan. Gallivan, chance of puck in front, and it's going to be covered up by George for a face-off with 7:47 to go, 9 seconds left in the Addy penalty.
Yeah, and this line combination of the young guys out there might be their best chances that they've gotten on this power play yet. And that's what this is. That's preseason's for, right? Give these guys who you may not have a look at this, give them a chance on the power play, see what they can do.
Amidovsky getting a goal in his first OHL game last season. Of course, him, Richter, and Kostic are the ones out there, with Gallivan and Risman defensively, as the penalty now expires. And now here's an opportunity. Shot from Kostic goes. Good save from George. And again, creating those opportunities for the young line. Owen Sound now trying to get the puck out of their net, as again, Addy's penalty has come to a close. We're back to 5-on-5. Gallivan, he's being chased by Gooden as Gallivan tries to bring it up. And now his pass over to Amidovsky as they gain the zone, but Amidovsky's not able to get the puck in deep. Now Gallivan keeps it up, and now Gallivan will dump it in. George plays it, but he's going to leave it for Sedley behind Owen Sound's net. Now the attacker going to look to try to get something going, but a bad pass in the neutral zone stolen by Kennedy. Now here's an opportunity. A shot, scores! That was for Joni with a big goal, and we are tied up at one, coming fresh off the bench. And how about that neutral zone game from Wyatt Kennedy?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of Kennedy last year, but not a whole lot. And I think from what I've seen this year, it looks like he's made some big steps over the summer. And I think he's going to get some big ice time this year for North Bay, possibly looking at some power play, penalty killing type roles. We do have a goaltending change coming from Owen Sound. Now I'm guessing that's just halfway through the game, give the other guy a chance to play.
So it'll be Corbin Vaudrey. We'll see how much I messed that name up with George. As good, I didn't even see him go off the ice there, but overall, George, a really, really solid game so far. 19 saves on 20 shots.
Yeah, and some of those were really nice saves that were. Forgione,
a nice shot, too, as he goes low glove side there, and is really able to. That's a shot that I think we're going to have to keep an eye on as his career goes. And now here's a chance for Waddick. His shot right into the body of Dom, and he's going to save it. So the Battalion tie things up again, but I have to go back to that neutral zone steal from Wyatt Kennedy. Yep. Another sloppy play by the Owen Sound attack. Well, both teams have had their moments, but what a steal sets that up. They're able to stay onside, and then from there, Forgione with a beautiful shot. Yeah,
great play by Kennedy to get the puck, get in, and see Forgione breaking in and give him the puck as well. Mm-hmm. And, great shot. You know, one of those goal scorer shots right above the pads.
Arnsby versus Lawrence in the face-off dot. It's won by I think that'll go down as a Battalion face-off win, but it's kind of a stalemate there, as now it's going to be brought out by the Battalion as Nelson brings it in. He's got Procession and Arnsby with him. His pass to Procession is not quite there, as Vaudrey is not able to get his glove on it. As now it's going to be behind the net. As there's Procession. His pass over to Mathurin, and he was pinching, and now back come the attack with numbers. Here's an opportunity for the attack. The shot stopped by Dom. Rebound from Waddick. And Mathurin, a big back check as he gets his stick on that to make that shot way less effective than it could have been. But him trying to pinch down. And
I think that was Procession with the back check on that play.
oh, it looked like Mathurin got back there. He might be right. I believe I saw number 5 back there. Either way, a very interesting play in a tie game as Mathurin almost gets caught and almost catches them. As here's Cormier, brings it now in for the attack. Cormier brings it around. He's going to try for a wraparound, but he's going to now get it back to the point. Here's Jordan. Jordan brings it down as he's got Tersini down there for the attack. Tersini now gets it back to the point. There's a shot from Steen, but he fans on it. Now the puck's loose in the slot area. Bouchard tries to get it out, but he can't. And now here's Tersini asking for the puck. Tersini has it. He brings it back to Jordan. Back at the blue line. Jordan's shot goes off Bouchard's stick, and now the Battalion able to get out of it. Here's Bouchard. He's got Wakely with him. Bouchard's just going to dump it in as he had Jordan all over him, and now Wakely and Steen were fighting for it. He gets it over to his defensive partner, and now back come the attack. Here's Jordan. Jordan's just going to dump it in. They're going to go off for a change. DiVincentis comes out to play it. He leaves it for his defenseman, and now here's Bouchard at the side of the net, at the sideboards. Gallivan now has it as he goes around his net. He passes it over, and now Wakely's going to bring it up. Here's Bouchard. Bouchard through the neutral zone. Can't really gain the zone, but now Wakely's got it. Wakely a chance, and Van Stietzel was almost there to tip it home, but it goes wide. The attack, bad pass through the neutral zone, and then a giveaway by Gallivan to Brennan. Now Van Stietzel has it as it goes between the two teams, and now Wakely has it. He's getting really roughed up by Brendan, and now they're going at it in the corner. The puck's right beside them, but they keep pushing and shoving. No penalty, though, coming on that play as the ref is going. They're still going at it behind the play, and Owen Sound brings it the other way. The pass intended for Crawford is broken up, and now here's Sedley as he brings it back to his own zone, and now in the neutral zone. Owen Sound, Brennan now brings it. His pass back to his defenseman is going to go too far, and it's now going to be Matacek behind his own net. He's being accosted there by Amidovsky, and now he's going to pass it over to Sedley, but Sedley gives it up, and now he gets it back as Matacek is going to try to start the break here. As here's Hookie. Hookie is being talked. Good defensive play by Amidovsky, not letting him get into the zone, and now Dom's going to play behind his own net. Here's Barlow. Barlow really has been quiet in this game so far. Not a lot of opportunities. Here's Jordan. His pass intended for Barlow in the slot is not good enough. As it goes wide, oh, here's a shot stopped by DiVincentis. Now it's flipped into the neutral zone. Hookie tries to get it, but he can as he's knocked down by Kennedy. Here's Turley. His pass now intended for Kostic, and Kostic brings it up to Amidovsky. Again, the rookie line up there. Kostic's tip from Amidovsky's shot goes just wide. As now Steen has it behind the net for Owen Sound, and the Battalion go off for a change. There's now 2:50 to go in this second period. Score all tied up at 1. Thanks to a Forgione goal off a really good neutral zone steal by Wyatt Kennedy. The puck now comes out of the Battalion zone, and Owen Sound's going to have to try to figure it out. Barlow's pass not good enough. Stolen by Nelson. Nelson, he's got McQueen Spence with him. Nelson is laid out by Jordan, his fellow 24, and Jordan is going to go off. I believe interference is going to be the call. And finally a break in the action, and we're going to have our mid-period break, our second one. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Well, Ben, Jordan goes off for the interference call on Nelson. Looks like a pretty big hit on Nelson as well. Looked like clean, but the puck wasn't anywhere near Nelson. It
was definitely a late hit. So I think that's part of why it looked real big, is he wasn't expecting it because he moved the puck so much earlier. I wasn't looking directly at it to know particularly how the hit happened, but it looked almost like it might have been a little high too.
It looked from my
peripheral out of my.
It looked from my. It was just like chest, shoulder on chest. It looked pretty clean, but as you said, I don't think Nelson was expecting it. The pass was already gone, and as you said, late hit from Jordan. So this will, if the Battalion don't score here, it'll leave the period with 26 seconds to go. There's 2:26 left, as Jordan will be in the box for 2 minutes or less.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a slight delay here as DiVincentis is getting something looked at on one of his pads.
DiVincentis now 27 shots faced, 26 saves. He's looked very solid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looked exactly like we've come to expect from him. And I would, part of me says, I'd be worried if he wasn't playing this way.
Yep.
But I don't know if I would. He's such a developed goalie in how he plays that even if he has a bad game, he's great at, I don't know what he's like off the ice, but when he's back on the ice by the next game, you wouldn't notice that there was a bad game happening.
So the Battalion finished their preseason in they played basically 3 games in 4 or 5 days. They take a 2-week break. Their next game is on the 23rd in Owen Sound. You know that that's going to that's their final tune-up about 5 days before the start of the season. So you know that's probably going to be your opening day lineup.
Yeah.
And the final tune-up, as we said, of the preseason, only 4 games you get. It was the.
It probably won't be their official lineup because they'll have guys gone to camp.
That is true too, but probably as close to an opening day lineup as we're going to get.
Yeah.
As you said, guys like Nelson, Dom, going to be in camp at least. Of course, Dom will probably be around with Barlow, as we mentioned before. First round draft pick, 18th overall by Winnipeg, and definitely deserves it. A guy you don't necessarily hear your name a lot, being a Battalion fan. With them being in a different conference, but you can't deny what he's done. 118 games, 76 OHL goals. As the Battalion not able so far in this penalty power play to gain the zone. There's a minute 12 to go, and it's been basically in the Battalion zone and in the neutral zone. $1:38 to go in the period.
Yeah, and part of this comes with, like you said last year, North Bay had a very streaky power play where they'd go through periods where they would just. If they got power play, you were expecting a goal. Then it got to the point where if they got power play, you weren't expecting a goal at all.
Yep.
And
which is crazy when you consider the firepower they had on that power play. A lot of it went on Nelson's shoulders. He was a beast on the back line. As now Wakely brings it up for the Battalion. They're trying to get something going. Half this penalty's over, and they don't even have a shot on net. As now here's Bouchard. Bouchard takes it into the corner, sends it back to Wakely. Turley sends it over for Kennedy, who was lining up for a one-timer. Haven't really seen Kennedy shot too much, so it'll be interesting to see if how good his shot is from the point, as we played quite a bit last year with Mathern being down, but we didn't really get to see what he has in the tank. And there's a shot, a big deflection from Bouchard, goes right into the body of Corbin Vaudreuil. Of course, he came in for Carter George's a plan change. About 6 minutes to go in this second period as we're into the final minute now. Kennedy now plays it up the corner. He plays it through the neutral zone of Van Stietsel. It goes off of his skates, and looks like he's able to stay on side. As now here Turley plays it by the blue line. Gets it over to Wakely. Wakely playing high on this power play as really Kennedy trying to make something happen with the one-timer, but he's not getting a pass that he wants. And now the penalty to Jordan officially over. Now 25 seconds to go in the period, and they're trying to break Jordan out, and Jordan's got it. Jordan's going to go one-on-one. He's got Gallivan behind him. Jordan, and the puck goes in, but Dom kind of gets pushed in by Jordan, and now all hell is breaking loose as there's officially no goal, and Jordan might be going back to the box. Maybe?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know if you can really blame Jordan for that, as his momentum didn't really allow him to stop, but
yeah, it looks like he pointed someone towards the box. I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, Jordan didn't look like he had any desire to stop, and he just ran right into the net. None of the penalty box doors are open, though, so he might have been just saying that the face-off's going outside.
Yeah, he definitely pointed towards the penalty area, but I think you're right, as they're putting it outside the zone. Either way, though, Jordan coming out of the penalty box, just to rewind it for the listeners at home, Jordan coming out of the penalty box all alone. Puck comes through. He's clear. He's got Gallivan with him, but Dom does a good job taking away any opportunity. He's got Gallivan right on him. Doesn't have a lot of opportunity to make anything happen. He's also a defenseman, so obviously not the best time to have a defenseman in that situation. Either way, there's 19 seconds to go, and we are all knotted up at 1. What a crazy ending to this period so far, as this very regular season vibes so far. We've seen it with a lot of pushing and shoving, especially on that last play, as now Amidovsky brings it the other way. Amidovsky dances through a couple of Owen Sound defenders, but his shot goes off of a defender's stick and out of play with 0.7 to go in this second period.
Yeah, and those sort of plays are what I think we had been hearing that Amidovsky was capable of, those little dancing through high finesse plays. And it was the last-minute throwing of a stick out in front of his shot that got it tipped away from the net. Otherwise, he would have had a nice shot on net there, too.
Don't know how much Amidovsky's going to get a chance to play this year with the Battalion, but when he gets the opportunity, he's going to have a really good chance. As the period comes to an end, we are through 40 minutes. It is Forgione with a huge game-tying goal to make it 1-1. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast brought to you by Average Joe's. We'll be right back after this.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
And we welcome you back into the Memorial Gardens in North Bay. We have our same contributors as last intermission.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And let's bring Harrison in as well.
It's Courtney and Harrison.
Yeah.
It's the Garrison meets the Courtney show.
You can't escape us.
No, it's impossible, except for during the game.
That's true.
Then you got the Ben Squared show.
It's the two Harrison.
The two. All right, I'm ready to leave Harrison.
Okay, that's fair. No, but tie game.
Yeah.
Forgione. Turnover at the exact same spot on the ice that Owen's sound attack.
Yep.
Got there for his goal, and then Forgione plays a mind game. Awesome.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to pass and just goes glove side.
Heck of a
Perfect tie
shot.
game.
Heck
Oh,
of a
yeah.
shot, yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you guys about was Kennedy. How are you guys seeing his game out there? Because it looks like he's playing steps better than last year, at least, especially with a nice assist there on that play.
You know what I'm going to say about Wyatt Kennedy, and this always sounds like a backhanded compliment when you talk about defensemen. It's not. If you don't notice him, he's doing a good job, and that's Wyatt Kennedy. I'm not noticing him. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm noticing some things Risman's doing, I'm noticing some things Gallivan's doing. Both are playing great, but I haven't noticed Kennedy. There's been no mistakes in his game
he's made a
so
few
far.
really nice plays even that I noticed. That
on September 29th.
Volume's low. No, but it looks really good from Kennedy. He's been perfect at what he needs to be doing, and he's just been in position. And that's kind of the things we've been commenting on throughout the preseason is people are making mistakes or people are excelling in something particularly well, but when it comes to Kennedy, he's been solid all the way through, and that's kind of what you need.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge help for North Bay with having lost a couple important shutdown guys from last year. Having him step up into that role, I think is going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, Luke and Hislop, we touched on it in the first intermission with the other Ben, because that's the only constant here, Harrison, is we got a Ben no matter what.
You're going to have to explain the same things to both of us.
Yeah, well, Ben doesn't understand hockey. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's the thing. Like, you're losing Luke and you're losing, Hislop. Those were two quality guys to throw out there on the penalty kill, to throw out there when you need to defend a lead. On the good side, and I've been adamant about this since his rookie season. Everyone always dogs Ty Nelson's defensive play. His defensive play to me is fantastic. It's just his offensive contributions are that much better that you're like, there's got to be something here that's not good, right? Ty Nelson today has been impressive defensively. He's even created some chances offensively as well. There was a moment there just before they scored the tying goal where he threw the puck on net and nearly led to a goal. And, the time George, who was still in net, just kicked out his pad at the last second, was able to knock it away.
It seems like the term two-way player is thrown around a lot.
Everybody's a two-way player.
Exactly.
When you ask them to describe their game, 200 foot.
Yep,
200
but
foot,
Ty
two-way.
Nelson seems to be truly the embodiment of that play style.
Yeah.
They'll get in front of pucks and they'll make sure they are where they need to go. A nice adjustment I've noticed from the Battalion in this period is they noticed that setting up wasn't working very well, going for the traditional two guys on the blue line, pass it around, try and make it work. They've been crashing the net, trying to go for those tip opportunities, and they've seen a lot of fruit come from it. They've got a lot of really high-quality chances when going for that style, and it's been great to see in this last period.
I think on that note, one of the things is in the last season, with the firepower that they've had coming up till now, you maybe don't have to get the dirty goals quite as much because you have a guy that's going to put it home anyway. Where this year they don't have that same depth of scoring. And I mentioned this to Ben, although they have lost a lot of, statistically lost a lot of goals from last year, I don't know if we're actually going to see a change on the scoreboard too much. Because guys like Wakely, like Romani, who on most teams would have had to play a big role last year, were kind of third, fourth line guys for most of the year. They're going to get that ice time this year, and I think they're going to be able to contribute the same way or close to the same way that some of those guys did last year.
I agree. When we talked about this with Ben in the first intermission as well, Ben Sargent for those at home trying to keep score right now. I mentioned the biggest difference to this team this year from last year is going to be the depth. How is the depth going to play? Because last year you had a Wakely and a Romani in a quote-unquote depth role, and both guys scored. Romani hit 20 plus, Wakely hit 30. Yeah. And Wakely was the first Battalion player to score 30 last year, which I don't think many people had on their bingo cards at the start of the year. I think everyone was like, Kyle McDonald for sure, right? Yeah. And then, of course, he went and got injured, unfortunately, and really hampered, but he still hit over 30 goals, Kyle McDonald. So, but yeah, that's the thing. Those guys were in depth roles, right? Ethan Procession was in a depth role. Jacob Terrian was in a depth role. Those two guys, Procession and Terrian, might still be in quote-unquote depth roles in the bottom six. But now they're going to be there's going to be a little bit more pressure on them to perform. There's going to be a little bit more pressure on Amadovsky. There's going to be a little bit more pressure on Richter and Kostic coming in. You can't, like last year, again, the Battalion were able to just roll four lines on any given night, and their depth, you can put it up with anybody. Arguably, and I've said this before, and I'm gonna hammer it home. If the Battalion got past Game 7 against Peterborough, you might as well have crowned them OHL champs because they were going to roll over London.
Yeah. Peterborough was just a team of destiny.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that out of them, but when we saw them play, they were a powerhouse team. And North Bay hung with them. And I believe whoever won that series.
There's just one too many gut punches.
Yeah.
So
whoever won that series was going to win the OHL.
Real quick before, I'm just going to say, the key moment of that series for me, the turning point, even though it came in a Battalion victory, was losing Pasquale Zito.
I agree.
Absolutely. It was noticeable on the ice.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about with the depth that the Battalion had last season, when one guy goes out, you shouldn't be able to notice it that much when you have that many key pieces. But it felt like that energy, especially that sort of feistiness that Zito brings to the ice, was kind of missing there. And that may have been the edge that really didn't keep them in it, unfortunately.
And when Zito came to North Bay, I know we were like, okay, so he's going to be good for depth scoring and kind of add something maybe here or there. But as we got into the playoffs, he became a really key piece of the team. And I don't know whether we're going to get to see him back or not this year, but I was
it's
really
up in
hoping.
the air.
Yeah.
It's up in the air right now. Of course, he's going to Leafs camp. His rights were with the Detroit Red Wings. They elected not to sign him, which I think a lot of Red Wings fans are kind of starting to scratch their head at the eyes are playing a little bit. But at the same time, as somebody on the outside looking at him, I think he knows what he's doing, but it feels like it's taking a long time in Detroit. But then again, he had nothing to work with, whereas at least he had Steven Stamkos and Hedman to work with in Tampa.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they elected not to sign Zito, so he's going to Leafs camp. Might get a shot with the Marlies, who knows. As a Leafs fan, I'm not really too upset if he happens to go that route, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in blue and white.
And that's something about this season that we didn't really see last season as much is we got a lot of guys going to camp this year, and it's going to give the new guys a lot of time to shine if they want to take that step. And they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to put in the work just because there's spots available. doesn't mean that they get in. So it's going to be very, very key for all the new players. And so far, throughout the preseason, they've been showing up in spades, like Forgione today.
Well, that's the thing that, little shameless plug, go listen to the second last episode of season 3 of the Frontline podcast with Ryan Houlihan, where he says you can tell a lot about a team by how well they start the season or how poorly they start the season and how poorly they do around Christmas time, because that's when you can tell you have a good team, because your good players are away at camp, and so you start a little bit slow in October, late September, and then all your good players are away at World Juniors, so you're a little bit slow in December.
Yeah.
So while I still think the Battalion are going to be a top 4 team in the league in the Eastern Conference, it might be a little bit slow out of the gate, I think.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the young guys, who of the new players have really impressed you guys so far?
Well, I've liked Forgione's, physical play so far. He's looked really good. Like, he's not being left behind in this league. He's not afraid to take the body. He's not afraid to fight for difficult positions. And he looks like he's really going to fit in with the style of play that the Battalion have here. They like to play physical. They like to play really good along the boards and then create small gaps of opportunity in order to get those scoring chances. We've seen consistently that they traditionally trail in shots, but will outscore their opponents, and that's because they're not afraid to get dirty, not afraid to get in there and actually fight for those, chances that aren't as obvious, and I think Forgione really fits that mold.
If we're going off players that we didn't see last year, because I would say Tyson Risman's actually impressed me quite a bit, but if I'm going to pick a player that I haven't seen last year, I really like the play of Declan Gallivan, which I guess I could say I saw him play last year while covering the Trappers, because he would have been with the Junior Greyhounds. I really like Declan Gallivan, and in that second period, he didn't really do much I found in the first period, but Carter Kostic, I thought, really came alive in that second period. He had some great offensive opportunities. I actually thought, because it was him creating some of the plays just before Forgione, and their numbers both ended with 8, so I actually thought it was him that scored at first until I saw him turn around and head to the bench. I was like, because just in my head, I was like, Kostic needs to get rewarded for what he's doing, and nothing against Forgione, but I thought Kostic had buried one there.
Yeah, Kostic has really impressed me so far today. Just he's had composure with the puck that you don't often see out of rookies coming in like this.
Well, and we were talking about that in the first intermission, that it looked like he was just a step behind because he's still trying to figure out the speed, right? It's always about speed. These guys, most of these guys probably have the hands to play in the NHL. It's whether or not you have the speed and the time to do it, right?
Yeah.
Or at the next level or whichever. So for Kostic to come from, AAA hockey or whichever to move up to major junior, it's going to be a big jump.
Yeah, so he's impressed me. In a not fair choice, I think Cooks looked really good out there today, too. Having this be his third OHL season, I guess I can't really call him a rookie. He's not a rookie,
no.
And but he's a new guy to the organization that I think maybe did not get the best chance in Mississauga.
Well, starting with Niagara, then Mississauga, and he's got his former head coach John Winstanley on the bench today, filling in for Billy Holder. So that's got to feel like home kind of a little bit for him.
Yeah, that's got to be a nice helpful thing, and then have Ty and
Dom,
that he played with in his minor hockey days.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to those two guys, because another Ben seems pretty convinced that Ty Nelson might start the season with the Kraken a little bit, get a little bit of a tryout. And you know what? It's not out of the realm of possibility, to be honest with you. Although you usually see defensemen take a little bit longer than forwards. Dom, well, as long as Hellebuck's in Winnipeg, I don't think Dom's getting one of the 2 spots in Winnipeg. But it might be a little bit interesting to see how long looks they get as they're going to go to camp here this week.
I would be surprised if Dom stays with Winnipeg in any extended capacity, like you said, because Hellebuck's there. But I think it's one of those, teams like to let goalies develop.
Well,
throw a 19, 20-year-old goalie into the NHL and sewer his confidence is not something you want to do.
No.
With Nelson, based on his game being primarily a high skill game and being a bit of a smaller guy, I don't think the Kraken are going to be looking to push him in too soon either. Let him develop, let him, who knows?
I'm a little bit more on the fence in it than someone else who's doing play-by-play today.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked, is what I'm saying, with with that, because I do think he does have the skill set. I do think both of them are going to suit up in the red for Team Canada come December.
Yes.
But that being said, I mean, both of them have signed NHL deals this past year, so obviously their teams that drafted them really like them.
And that's the thing, like, I do believe Nelson has a solid future in the NHL. I just don't think the Kraken are going to push him into it this year. I think they're going to
Well, it took them long enough with Shane Wright.
I think that's a whole different discussion, but
yeah. Well, one's a 4th overall pick, the other's a 3rd rounder, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is the Kraken have a lot of newer guys that they're bringing in. Dom has a spot here, and, you know, that's sort of contested with Hellebuck in Winnipeg, though the NHL has been transitioning a bit more into more of a 2-goalie system than main goalie backup. But we'll see what they can bring here in the 3rd period. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good segue.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
We'll leave that as a segue. Thank you, Harrison. This is now your Garrison.
It's never going to die.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
Well, we welcome you back here into Memorial Gardens. It is a 1-1 hockey game between North Bay and Owen Sound. 28-22 the shots in favor of the visitors. And very kind of interesting game so far. Some back and forth. Still looking to get some of that chemistry going. But the young guys for the Battalion is looking pretty solid so far.
Yeah, and that was one thing that we talked about on the intermission, and I'm told you guys talked about on the first intermission as well.
I forgot that you weren't in the first intermission, yep.
So, yeah, it's I think they had the same conversation, just different.
Just twice in a row, yeah. Well, as the puck drops and we're underway for the final 20 minutes. Ty Nelson with the puck in the Battalion zone over to his partner, Tanais Mathurin. Arnsby drops it nicely for Nelson, now brings it up for Cook. This is a great opportunity for the Battalion. Good shot by Cook right into the glove of Corbin Vaudry. Sorry, that's a weird name to say sometimes. But either way, he did come in. I wasn't prepared for this too because I didn't realize they were going to make a goalie change halfway through the game, which they did at the 14-minute mark of the second period. As it was Carter George who went off. But, it's preseason for all of us. So as there's a big tumble there by Mathurin, and now come back. Owen Sound with numbers. The shot from Barlow.
Oh, that's not going to be taken very well.
As you said, Barlow, after the shot, gets his stick into the gut of DeVincentis, and somehow there's pushing and shoving between the two teams, and Barlow's not even involved in it. So.
No, he went away. He skated away very fast, and someone's kind of coming after him, and he gestured out emotion, almost like, man, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, and of course, teammates again, as both are now Winnipeg Jets. If you're a Winnipeg Jet fan, you've got to be very excited, not just for Barlow, but how about your goaltending situation? The fact that not just you have Dom DeVincentis, the OHL goaltender of the year last year, but you have Thomas Milic, the WHL goaltender of the year as well. Both of them will be going out to the Young Stars Classic for Winnipeg. They'll be playing against the Oilers and Flames and Canucks youngsters as well. That's coming up. They'll be leaving sometime this week. So that'll be very exciting for Dom as they head into training camp as well. So a good chance for both Robertson and McIver to get some reps early on in the season. As here comes the attack. As Jordan has it. Jordan has had a pretty interesting game. He's had a penalty on Nelson for a late hit. As the puck squirts to Dom, and he is going to cover it up. 1 minute gone here in this third period.
Yeah, it's back to that for Winnipeg to have it in their system. The goalie of the year in 2 of 3 major junior leagues in Canada.
Yeah.
That's a feather in their scouting cap right there.
Yeah, and when they got Dom, he wasn't really he took a huge step forward last year too, and I don't think a lot of people, you hope it happens. I don't know if a lot of people expected that to happen.
I mean, to the extent that he did step forward, we'll continue this discussion later.
Yeah, as it's now down into the attack zone, Amidovsky's got it. As it's wrapped around, and it'll be picked up by Richter, and now it's brought back for Gallivan. He's trying to get into the slot, but it goes off a defender. And now back come the attack. Cormier brings it down for Nancy. Nancy now has it as he drops it back, and Nancy still has it. Now finally gets his stick poke checked off as Steen will now put it into the zone. It goes back into the neutral zone. Steen with it. He's being caught by Richter as he's keeping his eye on them. They go off for a change. And the puck comes up, and McQueen Spence almost had a chance to break out, but the pass was just outside of his reach as the attack bring it up. The pass to Sedley was going to send them back offside, and the attack now trying to get back in the Battalion zone, but that dump-in chance just goes right to Mathurin. And Nelson passes it back to Mathurin. Mathurin gets it up to his partner Nelson, but it's, again, just out of his reach. The Battalion are just not quite connecting on these passes through the neutral zone. Up come the attack. Addy is going to get the puck at the blue line. He leaves it for Sedley. Now Sedley blows a tire, and he's going to be able to hold on to the puck, but it's Mathurin fighting for it. Now a big shot from Addy right into the body of Dom DiVincentis, who will hold on. 17 minutes to go in the final frame.
Yeah, and that was a boom of a shot, but Dom had it right into his body and held on. But back to that conversation about Dom. In the previous season where Joe Verbetic was the starting goalie, Dom took over in the playoffs for the final series and kind of took over as the starting goalie. And we all knew he was good, but we started seeing, maybe he's going to be real good. And when he came back last year, it was just lights out every night. I think his development was more than anyone expected, but the skill set was definitely always there.
So the puck is now in the Battalion zone. It's brought over. Here's Petrovic. His shot off the pad of DiVincentis, and the puck is kind of clear, but not quite out. Pass to Jordan, can't quite handle it. Almost hops over his stick and goes out of the zone, but he's able to hold it in as Arnsby has it for the Battalion, and he gets his stick checked by Barlow, and it's going to come out. Cook is fighting for it. Cook not quite able to beat Jordan, but it pops back out for Arnsby. He's going to drag it in, and now him and Petrovsky are going to go at it as they collide in the corner, and it's brought out to the offensive zone. Here's a chance for Gooden. He's got a man with him. Gooden's shot is stopped by DiVincentis as he gets the blocker shoulder up high, as now Cook breaks out the other way. Cook dumps it in, and it's played there by the attack netminder. Now Steen has it behind the net and tries to clear it, and he just does, as Risman's not able to keep it in. You're a guy who's seen Tyson Risman quite a bit last season. What have you seen so far from him in this one?
At the start of last season, we saw him get a little bit of ice time here in North Bay, and we saw him in Powassan. He's looking a lot steadier this year than he did in the past. Last season, like, he made some real good steps forward in just sort of, I guess I would call maturity of play.
Well, Dom makes a very easy save on Sam Etier's shot. with the glove, and it's going to go for a Owen Sound offensive zone draw. He did unfortunately get injured later near the end of the season.
Yeah.
I believe I was calling that game as well. I remember that distinctly. Unfortunately, I believe he had to be even taken to the hospital. And fortunately, everything's all right, and it's good to see him in a Battalion uniform. As Sedley at the point for Owen Sound. His pass up to Addy was almost a prime shooting spot in that slot, but Addy couldn't get it. He got his wires crossed, and now Wakely brings it up. Wakely with Bouchard. That shot goes off of Wakely. Now another opportunity for Nelson, but Vaudry with a nice save. There's Bouchard with a shot that goes wide, and Mathurin plays it behind. He goes down behind the Owen Sound attacks net. Wakely back to the point. Nelson with his patented shot, but it hits bodies in front. Nelson at the blue line. Pass over to Mathurin. Mathurin tries to get it back into that slot again for Van Steetzl, but he couldn't quite. And now the attacker looking to break out. The pass is going to miss its mark again. And what has really been a storybook in this game has just been those passes have been inches away from connecting to their marks for both sides.
Yeah. And that's what you see in the preseason a lot, right? Like that's what this time of year is for us. When you get into games matter, those passes are on the tape and not off the tip.
And it's weird when the last thing that we saw this team was against Peterborough, right? So this is the first time, at least for me, getting to see them as I was not there for the first game against Ottawa. So it's as you said, it's getting back into action, and the scores don't matter in these games. The puck is in the Owen Sound chance. Here's Richter with an opportunity in front. Procession is out there with Richter and Amidovsky. So he's going to be out there instead of Kostic. And they're fighting for the Amidovsky's fighting. The puck comes out to Richter. Richter a chance. Good pass. Charlie shot off the bar. What a chance for the Battalion to take a mid-period lead. But Braden Turley was right there, and his shot goes off the bar. But we're going to take a quick break here as we get to the first ad break of the period. You're listening to Battalion, the front line game day action, brought to you by Average Joe's.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Man, a lot of tongue twisters today.
Yeah.
I'm having a tough day.
Yeah, and there's like some of the names we're getting today too, like Vaudry or Vauteri, or I'm not sure how to pronounce.
They don't give us a phonetic guide either, so
there are for some of them, and we did have it up here, but it's not
all
all the names.
Not the ones you need.
No, Rogers they gave us.
So some. Bear with us here. It's we're trying. In the regular season, it's a little bit easier, but there's also a lot of people that won't usually play for these teams in the regular season.
The big thing with the regular season is we usually have away radio here,
and that is true.
That's usually where we get our information from.
Yeah,
we can actually be like, hey, how's this guy's name pronounced? You say it every day.
And trust me, it goes the other way because Adam Dennis loves getting those really, like the Ethan processions where it doesn't really make sense when you look at his name and the pronunciation. But speaking of procession, he's going to be taking the face-off as he will take it. He's out there with Richter, who is coming in way into the box.
Yeah.
It was him and Tersini who were almost on the dot by the time they came in. And procession gets thrown out, so now Richter will take the face-off. He's got Amidovsky with him as well. Amidovsky as the Battalion kind of win that draw as Procession keeps it in, and now Owen Sound trying to get it out of their own net. They're playing at the far boards, and now finally it's flicked out by Cormier all the way down, and that'll go back for an icing, so they will try it all over again. 13:42 to go in this game.
And the previous icing was a bit of a weird one in that it looked like a couple of the Owen Sound guys could have beat out the icing, but they turned around like they were going for a change, got called for icing, and weren't allowed to change.
Well, if you're wondering when the Battalion season starts, that's a great question, and we're going to have it starting on the September 28th, Thursday, so 2.5 weeks away. They play in Barrie, but our first game will be the next day when Barrie comes here for the home opener on the 29th.
Yeah. And I've been getting myself out of my summer shape and back into my wing-eating form to hit Wackies up after the games.
It's a post-game tradition as it's played here in the Owen Sound zone. There's a chance from Mathurin. His shot, again, they try to go into that mid-slot, but as Cormier brings it up for the attack, Cormier, a shot stopped by Dom. Big rebound. And another save by DiVincentis. Mathurin gives a nice little saucer pass to Nelson. Up come the Battalion. McQueen Spence, his pass is nowhere near where he wanted to put it as he flicks it into the Owen Sound bench.
No, and that one was close to being too many men, as it was, the man just jumped on the ice for, I think it was Nancy going off, and he hit it with his hand, but I think Nancy had just stepped off the ice.
Yeah,
But Nancy's looked great out there for Owen Sound tonight.
Owen Sound has had a very solid game so far. 38 shots on DiVincentis today. Only one, but really when it comes to scoring opportunities, as here's an opportunity for the Battalion as a great chance for Kostic. But a lot of bodies, a lot of sticks in the way. Owen Sound's very good defensively and almost a giveaway by Gallivan. He is being harassed here by Owen Sound. Now an opportunity, and what a chance for Jake Crawford as they keep possession. Here's Steen at the board. His little wrist shot is tipped by Crawford. DiVincentis holds on. Crawford kind of bumps into falls into DiVincentis, and there's another scramble in front of the net.
Yeah, that was very close to becoming a messy scene there. As you don't want to see guys falling into your goalie, especially when, it's a player such as Dom DiVincentis that other teams can be targeting them. You want to make sure that they're not.
Especially in preseason. You never want to see anybody get anything weird or funky happen in preseason play. As Arnsby and Gooden again lining up the 2-11s in the Battalion zone. It's won by Gooden. Barlow's shot goes off the body of Turley. And now Turley gets laid out there, and now the puck comes back out for Steen. Behind the net, another opportunity comes up for Cook, and now Steen keeps it in again as Barlow fans on the shot. Really haven't seen a lot of Barlow as we would have thought we have. He's had a couple opportunities, but has definitely not stood out too much on the ice for the attack today.
No, he's played a solid game, though. We just haven't seen the flashes that we expect to see out of players of that caliber.
There's a shot stopped by Dom again. The puck comes loose in front. Cook is there to stop it, and Cook gets a little bit of a late shove from Hookie, and it's going to go all the way down for icing against the Battalion as Petrovsky is there. So 11:48 to go. Still 1-1 between North Bay and Owen Sound. Preseason action. Third game of 4 for this preseason.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they have a little break till the next one, but
they do. Their next game will be the 23rd in Owen Sound, so about a 2-week break. By that time, of course, as we said, guys like Nelson and DiVincentis will be gone out for camp. One of the things that's interesting this year is when you look at the sheet that they provide us, they always say who's with what NHL team. A lot less names this year with the turnover as Dom makes that save, a shot from the point.
I think last year to the end of the season there was 11 guys who had NHL affiliations.
Yeah, I believe it might have been 9 something. We had one of the highest though in the Ontario Hockey League. Now 3, 4, 5, only 5. Dom with Winnipeg, Mathurin with Detroit, Ertel with Dallas, Arnsby with Florida, and of course Nelson with Seattle.
Yeah. Which, I mean, 5's not a slouch number either.
No,
and Sound with 4 on their side.
And it's not crazy to think that Wakely and Romani are soon to join that as well. Wakely is still one of the most underrated players, I think, in the league when you consider back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons. As Van Steetzl brings it up. Van Steetzl, his shot goes off Sedley's stick. And now another weird angle shot from Dallin Wakely is saved by Corbin Vaudery.
Yeah, and although Wakely may not have an affiliation, and I haven't heard any official word yet, but he may be at a camp as well. I know last year he was at Ottawa's camp for a good portion of it, so
was Kyle McDonald.
Yeah, Kyle McDonald was there as well. He's in Dallas this year.
Yeah, signed a huge contract for him and really turned on the Jets right after he signed it too. A lot of times you think he would take the foot off the gas, and I still think if McDonald played that full season, he could easily have been a 60-plus goal scorer.
I
It's
agree.
not crazy to think. As Owen Sound brings it up, as Nancy brings it through. Here's a chance from that was Tersini, and Tersini now falls over with the puck. Van Steetzl is going to break out for the Battalion. He's got Bouchard with him and Nelson. Nelson's now going to go back. Looks like he's going to go off for a change. Battalion get fresh defenseman out there. That goes off Gallivan and leaves it for Nancy. Now Nancy, he has got Sedley with him. His pass to Sedley, but Van Stietzel's there with a nice defensive play to make sure that pass doesn't go through. Nancy with it at the far side, gives it to the attack player. That's Tersini. Now the puck, Crawford, a shot from the point and right into the body of DiVincentis. 10:29 to go. So the halfway point of the third period with about 10 and a half minutes left to go. What's going to have to happen here to try to break the deadlock? I don't know. Is there overtime in preseason games?
There probably is. I'm not sure what they do about that. I would guess they handle it like regular season games.
I would imagine so, but we might find out.
Yeah, who knows? They might do a coin flip and shootout.
43-28 are the shots in favor of Owen Sound, and now another weak shot from the point. DiVincentis has it. You know he's not happy about all these small contacts that are happening in the Battalion. This is about the third or fourth time that they've kind of had a bit of a crowd around their net post-whistle.
And that's the thing, like, if I was on the Owen Sound attack and I was one of the coaches, that's what I'm preaching. Get to that net, get in front of it, make his job hard. But as the Battalion, you have to be saying, keep them out, keep them away, give them eyes.
Good opportunity for the young guys to kind of learn the physicality that you'll see in the Ontario Hockey League. Puck's loose here in the neutral zone as it's now brought down. No icing. Nelson's going to go after it. Him and Mathern in the backfield here for the Battalion. Amidovsky is going to bring it up. Mathern now is going to try to start the break. Nelson's up there as well as it's that Amidovsky, Richter, and Procession line as, again, Ryan Houlihan mixing the lines up a little bit. As a good job from Amidovsky there to keep the puck in the zone. And Amidovsky now fighting with it behind. He's had a really good game with using his body. And now finally it's going to be the attack getting a chance to break out on their end. Here's Jordan. He's going to just dump it into the Battalion zone and go off for a change. Nelson brings it up. Nelson's going to try to break it out zone. A really good stick there from Gooden. Gooden now at the side right by the hash marks. Chance in front and almost a great opportunity there from the captain to put that one in to the back of the net for Owen Sound, but wasn't able to get a clean shot, and now it goes all the way back to the attack zone. Barlow now with it. Barlow looking to put on the Jets. His shot right off the blocker. Good save from DiVincentis. And he's a guy that, you know, even though he hasn't been around the net a lot and hasn't had a lot of opportunities, he can really make things happen with just one shot. As the Battalion looking to break, and Forgione, who's got the lone goal for the Battalion, and now here's Laird. Laird shot off the pad of Vaudry, and he's going to hold on to that as Laird goes hard into the end boards.
Yeah, and we saw a couple flashes out of Barlow in that last shift that we talked about not having seen previously in this game. And I'm betting there will be conversations about that at Winnipeg camp when they get to there.
100%. And we've seen this before last season, and I can't remember the exact team that I'm thinking of. It might have been Sudbury. I think it was Sudbury, where they had a couple of those. There was one game, I think, where they just kept scoring. They didn't get a lot of shots on chance, but they had a couple of goals. I can't remember the exact game. But my point is, like, that can be Barlow, right? Doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but that one shot, and he was looking to go over the blocker shoulder of DiVincentis, but wasn't able to get that puck quite high enough into that sweet spot. The puck is in the Owen Sound zone. Owen Sound looking to start their offense here. Again, 46 shots. They've been all over DiVincentis. Not necessarily 46 quality shots, but still a lot of shots on net. Here's a slapper, and that one goes wide. That was off of the stick of Matacek, and now Dom will hold on to it. And now he's got some choice words here with, it looks like that is Caleb Lawrence.
Yeah, they were John and each other. The ref got in there, and as soon as Nelson and Cook saw what was going on, they made sure to get over there in a hurry.
Yeah, and Waddick also over there. There's another attack player in that scrum as well. And again, Cook, man, he's looked really, really good so far. Not just in the offensive zone, but he's made some good defensive plays. And again, he came in very end of August. I believe it was August 28th when the transaction was finalized. And
yeah, and I'm not sure if he's breaking the roster as a top 6 player, but I could see him definitely playing a good depth role on this team, being important for that additional scoring.
I could see him getting the minutes that Arnsby got last year in that kind of third line where he still got a lot of minutes, but wasn't quite able to get into that top 6. again, so much has changed in this Battalion team year over year. It's going to be interesting. Where are they going to put Procession this year? He's playing on the wing here in preseason, so we'll see is he going to get some chances. Enough right off the draw. What a save by DiVincentis. Right off the draw. My goodness.
That was a beautiful chance for Nancy. Got the puck right off the draw across the net. DiVincentis just stretched out and got his glove on it and didn't let it go at all.
As you said, the puck comes out. Nancy on the far hashtag, and it's DiVincentis in his low butterfly. Comes all the way out and gets it right in his trapper arm. I thought for sure that was going to be a goal coming off the faceoff, but DiVincentis showing you why he is the best goaltender in the Ontario Hockey League last season, and with a beautiful save there. And I'm sure you're going to see that one on socials later, as the puck's dumped all the way down for icing. But man, Dom, he's had his moments in this game, and that's still that. If that was a regular season game, that's one of the saves of the year, I think, for Dom.
Well, that's the thing, right? He's an incredibly solid goalie, but he'll also pull those ones out that, this is a 2-1 game with 8 minutes left if he didn't make that save.
Yeah. Both teams have had their chances. There's 8 minutes to go in this third period. As you said, still a 1-1 tie. Mathurin gets it over to Nelson, and Cook's going to try to start the Battalion offense. As Arnsby with some speed gets into the attack zone, and now a little bit of a late hit there from Hookie as he gets his elbow up, and Barlow shot right into the body of DiVincentis as he makes the save, and Nelson gets into it with Hookie, and I'm sure that late hit from Hookie on Arnsby was part of that as well.
Yeah, and Kostic got in there in a hurry to try and stand up for his man, and he's still drawn with a considerably bigger attack player. Can't see what number it is, but
you love seeing the youngsters get into it as well.
Yeah.
As we said, this is, and you do a lot of Voodoo games, but this is a totally different beast when you look at the physicality and what you see. But speaking of the Voodoos, Ben, next game for the Powassan Voodoos.
Yeah, it's coming up on Friday. And, yeah, they're looking to have a really good season this year.
That'll be our next game day broadcast Friday evening. Again, they won their home opener 5-0. Who is that over?
French River.
French River. Of course, you calling that game in there, doing a great job as the puck now comes into the slot area. As they're still trying to break it free, and Gallivan now gets it down in the corner for Wakely. We've seen Wakely have a couple of opportunities. Hasn't gotten too many really good shots on net, but he's been around that kind of side area. The attack, a chance from Burrows, and that goes wide. Puck slips off, goes off the back of Burrows, and now the Battalion can break out again. Wakely, Van Steetzl, and Bouchard up there. That line has had its moments in this game. Van Steetzl almost gets the stick, it looks like, of Crawford, and now Addy hits Bouchard, and now he slashes Bouchard, and no call. So not just did he hit Bouchard where the puck wasn't even near him, but then he slashes him on his way to the bench, and no referee picks that one up.
Yeah, I think these last 5 minutes are going to be a rough one.
You can. I think you can say that again. That's a very safe opinion to have. As Owen Sound trying to get something going here. Both teams, 6:20 to go. As Procession dumps it down, Vaudreuil tries to play it behind the net, but it goes past his stick. Jordan's going to play it in the corner for Owen Sound. That takes a weird bounce off the boards, and Procession almost had a good chance in the circle area. Pass comes over to Lawrence. Lawrence, nice pass down to Jordan. His shot right into the body of DiVincentis again. Some great shots from Owen Sound, but they're all finding the body of DiVincentis. Here's Etier behind the net. He's being harassed by Amidovsky, who's looked really, really strong in the offensive zone. Big hit from Procession as that was on Waddick, as we could hear that all the way up here. There's Lawrence trying to break into the Battalion zone. Nelson gets knocked down. And now a huge hit, and that's going to be a penalty now on Nolan Laird, as it's going to be as Vaudreuil goes off, and now that shot goes wide. So delayed penalty coming up to the Battalion, and finally the whistle goes, and there's going to be some more extracurriculars as now everybody's getting into it. Mathurin's in there, Nelson's in there, Laird's in there. There's another Battalion player.
Forgione's in there.
Forgione, yeah.
He's going at the center of it with, I can't see who's
him and Jordan are really going at it at the Battalion bench, and Forgione's halfway in the bench. And his helmet's off. Laird now just talking to the referee.
Oh, they're still throwing swinging with 3 refs in there trying to pull them apart.
And there's gloves on the ice. Those are Jordan's gloves.
Yeah, so Laird will be in the box
And
for hitting from behind, and then
Jordan's definitely going off. And
there's 3 gloves that I could see on the ice, so at least one of Forgione's is there. It looks like he's probably going to.
And I think we're at our mid-period break as well, but I'm not sure. There's 45 seconds put on the clock there.
Let's head to our mid-period break,
okay.
and we'll go from there.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Well, it's been a game, and this is it's preseason, but it's kind of getting a little hectic as we're trying to figure this out. Let's talk about the 3 stars, though. Sorry, not the 3 stars. Let's talk about our players to watch quickly. That kind of caught me off guard there with the 3 stars. But with their players to watch, we've got Dom DiVincentis, and of course on the other side for Owen Sound, we have Barlow. So let's start with Dom. What have we seen today in net between for the Battalion netminder?
What haven't we seen?
That's
right?
fair.
Like, he is such a good goalie, but he's had 49 shots on him. Let in 1 goal. I don't care what kind of shots they are, that's remarkable.
Yep.
But he's had some really good shots where he's robbed them of absolute sure thing type chances. But other than that, he's so good at being good positionally that unless it's a weird play like that one that Nancy had on him, or a pass across like Barlow had, he's never out of position. So there's so many saves he makes. That looked like that was an easy one, just into the chest and save. Well, he doesn't give up rebounds on those, and he's in the position for it to be right into the chest. And it looks like Forgione.
Yep, Forgione and Jordan have both left, so it looks like they're probably going to get fighting majors. There's a 2-minute penalty right now on Laird, so that was the only power play. So the Battalion it'll be 5-on-4.
Yep.
We'll get to Barlow after in the next whistle there, who's our Owen Sound player to watch, as it'll be Gordione versus Arnsby on the face-off, and it's won by, we'll say the Battalion there, as it was another one of those kind of tied draws. And I don't know really how how you would score that. I'm assuming the Battalion touched it second.
I think
but
the attack won the draw, but Battalion came away with the puck.
Well, that's something for these scores. That's what they get paid
Yep.
to do. Now, here's a giveaway. Here's a chance for Cook. Cook coming in, but great defensive play, and he goes right into the net. The referee immediately says there's no penalty on the play. Hookie with a really good defensive play. Him alongside, I don't remember exactly who the other Owen Sound player was, but either way, Cook had a great chance and a great back checking.
And he had a couple guys draped all over him. We're going to see a replay here, but
it was Hookie and Gordione who was going up against him.
Yeah, it sort of looks like they made like a legitimate stick play and just kind of he got knocked over incidentally.
Either way, what a steal in the neutral zone. It was basically a triangle of Owen Sound players, and Cook came out of nowhere to steal it right in the middle of that triangle, and a great opportunity. And I'm telling you, if Cook can play this way in the regular season, a guy who has had maybe 10, 11 points per season, he could easily be a 40, 50-point guy, I think. Especially being surrounded by, again, he was in Mississauga. Mississauga, we know they've had their struggles last season.
Yeah.
So to be in around stronger players might help him immensely.
Yeah.
So there's less than 5 minutes to go. 4:45 in the period. 1:30 to go in this power play to Laird from the hit from behind. Here's Hookie in the Battalion zone. Petrovsky, he gets his pass down to Burrows, and now it comes out for Barlow. And it's Petrovsky again. That shot is tipped, and DiVincentis with a relatively easy save. Barlow has it. Again, playing in that kind of high circle. His shot, one-timer, goes off the body of DiVincentis, and now they're fighting for it in the corner. Arnsby there. Barlow now wins it. Barlow brings it all the way over to Brennan. And Petrovsky, he just tries to get the puck in front, and finally the Battalion get it out with 45 seconds to go. 4 minutes left in the period, 45 seconds left in the man advantage for Owen Sound. They're 0 for 2 so far. Looking to not go 0 for 3. The Battalion, a good penalty kill this game. And now here's opportunity. Cormier, his shot goes wide. Now fighting for it along the boards. Van Stietzel's there for the Battalion. Waddick has it over to Lawrence. Lawrence leaves it there for Matacek. Back to Lawrence. A little give and go there. Puck comes out in front, but it clears the danger area. Waddick has it near the point. His shot again right into the body of Dom DiVincentis. And the one thing the Battalion have done a great job with is allowing Dom to see the shots from the point.
Yeah, and the penalty kill tonight has been just fantastic. They were last year as well, but Van Steensel out there, he got a lot of penalty kill time last year, and he's looked right on par. We saw Wakely out there last year. We didn't see him do a whole lot of penalty killing last year, but I think he has that skill set to do that. They just were so strong, they didn't need to venture to him.
7 seconds left in the Lair penalty. 52 shots now for Owen Sound, 29 for the Battalion, and immediately off the faceoff, Nelson sends it all the way down, and Vaudry will have to play behind the Owen Sound net. Owen Sound now back to 5-on-5, and that's going to go all the way down for icing as Burrows was not able to touch up. 3:08 to go in this period, and 3 minutes and 8 seconds until we find out is there overtime in preseason.
But yeah, so going back to our earlier conversation of addressing Barlow, I didn't notice him out there on that power play at all. I don't know if he wasn't out there or I just didn't notice him do anything, but he's had a couple really good chances today, but hasn't met the scoreboard yet.
Mathurin with a nice defensive play on Waddick as he tried to make a move around him. It's back in the neutral zone. So far, both teams have had a decent neutral zone game, but both have had their giveaways as well. It's dumped into the Battalion zone possession, a late hit on Cormier. As again, there's been a lot of chippiness. These two teams, they're not division rivals. They don't even play in the same conference.
Nope.
You've seen a lot of chippiness so far. As Tersini has it behind the Battalion net. Procession trying to get it out. He flips it out. And that is, looks like Mathurin was trying to play it out, and now an opportunity. But Richter is going to get it out as his pass to Amidovsky, not quite. And Amidovsky almost gives it away. A great stick there by Procession, though, to make sure that puck gets out of the Battalion zone. Sedley has it, and he's being pressured in his own zone by Richter, who, again, he's had his moments in this game as well. And Tassini trying to bring it up for the attack. Gallivan, really good first period for Gallivan. He's a couple of struggles here and there in the last 40 minutes, but overall solid game. Cook now sends it down into the Battalion zone. That goes off the side of the net. A shot from Arnsby.
Tarasenko special there.
Yeah.
Tarasenko.
Yeah. And this one's going to go all the way back. Another icing call is going to go against the Owen Sound attack. Buck 33 to go, still 1-1.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. As you're saying, like for the defenseman come out here like Gallivan, when you have a goalie like Dom DiVincentis playing behind you with so far 51 saves on the night, that's a great confidence builder for you, right? You know, if I miss it, he's still probably got my back. You don't want to, but you know you got that security where if you play on a team with weaker goaltending, and it's going to be a goal against if you make a mistake.
And the one thing, too, is you might say, hey, that's bad defense, but the Battalion defense have done really good at making sure he gets to see the puck. So that's one of those things where just because a team is shot happy like Owen Sound has been this afternoon doesn't mean that the defense hasn't been doing their job. Here's a giveaway and a great opportunity from Kostic, but he misses the net as Arnsby almost made that great pass there to burn Owen Sound with a minute to go now in this period. Mathurin's shot from the point is blocked. Up come Barlow, and Barlow, a chance to be the hero, but his shot is steered easily aside as Mathurin, again, he's had some really good defensive moments in this game. Him and Nelson have looked really strong as that veteran defensive core, and a very long shot from Matacek, easily gloved down by DiVincentis. 46.7 seconds left in the period.
And as a conversation that was had almost all of last year, that due to injuries, we haven't seen Tanias Mathurin as much as we would have anyone else. He could be very well one of the best defensive defensemen in the league.
100%, and a huge loss for them last year as well.
So to have him paired with Ty Nelson, who could very well be the best offensive defenseman in the league, is
it's
that's
dangerous.
A
yeah. And when Nelson knows that he can pinch and he has a really good defender behind him helps a lot. Here's Owen Sound. Lawrence, his pass in front is blocked. And bringing it up here is Burrows. Burrows back to Steen. Steen with a weak wrister from the point is easily gloved by DiVincentis, though it was going wide anyways. And now again, more extracurriculars. It's Lawrence and Burrows out there, and
there's a lot
looks
of
like Nelson.
Little taps being put on Dom DiVincentis and guys circling back and drawing at him and stuff. And yeah.
I will say that earlier play where Barlow kind of came in on Mathurin, I thought that was going to be the moment where he just snipes one top shelf. It really felt like he was just going to come out of nowhere. And it's just, again, it feels like he's due for something here in this game.
He's on the ice there with Gwendon at the center for ice.
Yeah, alongside Landon Hookey. The Battalion are going to counter. I believe that's Arnsby taking the face-off. Hard to see from our angle. Yeah, it was the captain, Arnsby, who wins it. As the Battalion have their top line out there. Van Stietzel going after it, but this is going to be no icing as a big win there from Wakely. And now it's shot from Arnsby. And it's ricocheted out of play, but I didn't even notice Wakely was on the ice there. But what a play as he goes from the far side and beats out the icing with 11 seconds to go.
With a beautiful pass to Arnsby with a shot that I saw him wind up. I saw him take the shot. I did not see that puck anywhere. It was a hammer.
The one thing that's interesting in this game with Wakely is that he's very much on the, obviously he's on the wing in this game, but he's really been handling the puck in really bad angles or awkward angles, I would say.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see him get more in the center of the ice. Here's a little wrister from Van Stietzel. 7 seconds to go. The Battalion, one more chance. Nelson, big shot, goes wide and probably hit a body in front, and that is going to do it. So it ends 1-1. We're going to get our answer. Is there overtime? We do not know. 55-32 are the shots.
Yeah, so please stay with us here. And it looks like.
And we're going straight to a shootout. Oh, let's go.
Who's going to do it?
Who's
going to shoot?
So we'll see what happens here. We're going to a shootout. All right, so 60 minutes in the bank here. I don't know if my heart can take overtime, so I'm kind of glad we're going right to a shootout, even though this game doesn't matter. Okay, so we got 60 minutes in the bank, Ben. What have we seen in this game? What have you seen that's really good, and what do you think needs a little bit of work on for the Battalion?
So the really good is the obvious of things, right? The not good is I think there's been some lack of puck control on North Bay's side, which has led to Owen Sound getting 55 shots.
Yeah.
The really good is the 54 saves that Dom DiVincentis has made.
That's true.
54.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable number.
Yeah.
So, especially with only that one goal in when he's had some really good chances against. So that's good. The players who are the regulars that we saw last year lots are all looking in good shape. You know, the little chemistry things about getting back ready.
But some of the youngsters have looked great too.
Some of these youngsters have looked great. Some of the things I've seen where youngsters have missed plays that maybe, like a winger being out too high. When the pass comes from the defenseman, he steps in and grabs the puck away from him. Right? There's been a couple times when the puck's been held in, and I think it's mainly an inexperienced thing.
Well, we're ready to go. Gooden's going to take the first opportunity here for Owen Sound up against DiVincentis, and Gooden starts it off right here. He's going to go out wide first to the far side. Dom way out of his crease to stop it. Now he's taking his time here. Right at the high slot. Makes a nice little move back over. Big save from DiVincentis with the toe. As Gooden trying to get a little cheeky with it there.
Yeah, he was, whenever people make those slow plays like that, I'm like, that takes confidence. But I think it's not advantageous entirely either, especially when you're going against a cool goalie like Dom who will wait you out every time.
Well, that huge cheers for Ty Nelson, who takes the puck. And Nelson now, he's going to go to the far side as well against Vaudreuil. Nelson coming in with more speed. Nelson wastes his time, shoots, scores! What a move by Ty Nelson. He takes his time, not as cheeky as Gooden, and goes around the pad of Vaudreuil, and the Battalion up 1-0 here after one round in the shootout.
Yeah, that's one of those big ones where you start seeing them do the really big sweep that he went right out almost to the boards, went well across the ice back before going back.
Well, it's the Winnipeg teammates as Barlow takes it for the captain, takes it for Owen Sound. Barlow coming in with a little bit of speed here. As now he comes in, Barlow shoots, stopped by DiVincentis off the blocker. Owen Sound 0 for 2 in the Battalion, a chance to take a huge opportunity with Dallin Wakely coming off the bench.
Yeah. I think they do 3 shooters is the thing, so if he scores, that's the game.
We'll see. Dallin Wakely, an opportunity to put this one on ice. Wakely coming in fast off the other side. He does a little dangle. His shot goes wide. Maybe Voderoy gets a bit of a toe there, but either way.
That was wide off Wakely's stick, and it just kind of rolled off. He went to his backhand, and the way curves work these days, there's so much bigger curves that getting that a good grip on that backhand.
It's like as here comes in Sedley. Interesting, they're giving a defenseman an opportunity here. Although I guess Nelson had one earlier. Here Sedley comes in. He comes in wide. He comes in on DiVincentis. Big stop by DiVincentis, and that is it. The Battalion take it here on home ice. They're 2-1 now in the preseason as they win it 2-1 in the shootout. Your final, what a gutsy game. And I'm going to say this was a preseason game. This felt like what I would expect out of a Sudbury or Barrie game. Lots of physicality. What a really good game.
You know what? That physicality took time. It didn't start off that way.
That is true.
Anyway, with that.
Well, with that being said, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back for some post-game analysis. You are watching the post-game. We'll also talk about our 3 stars as well and wrap things up a little bit. We were watching the Battalion Frontline Game Day, brought to you by Average Joe's.
The pregame show is brought to you by La Huerta Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit lahuertaimports.com for more details. Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today. Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
Well, we're back here. Again, it's the Battalion winning in a shootout 2-1 over the Owen Sound attack in a crazy game. The final shots, 55-32 in favor of the attack. So let's talk about the 3 stars, Ben. Obviously, there's no official 3 stars that we have access to. I don't know if they even do it. But either way, who are your 3 stars for this game?
I'm going to have to say, for the 3rd star, I'm going to look across the ice and say Gwindon.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a great game. Nothing too much materialized for him, and they didn't come out with the win, but he played well and he played hard. So I think he's got to get one. Ty Nelson maybe is number 2. He played a solid game, scored the shootout winner. And I don't know if there's an argument for number 1 star.
I think Dom might be like the easy. So for me, I might put Dom maybe at a number 2, but I would put Forgione in there as well. He got a goal, he tied the game up, and he got into a fight. So he got not quite the Bobby or hat trick, but.
So if he's in that conversation, I'd put him instead of Nelly. A 54 save win in where he didn't let in a goal in the shootout.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yep.
All
right, so there we go officially. So we've got Gooden from the Owen Sound attack. Gwindon from the Owen Sound Attack. We don't have any phonetic sayings of these names.
No, so that's me guessing by seeing his name.
Then we have Forgione with a goal to tie the game and a fight that got him kicked off with him and Jordan, and then finally DeVincentis. All right, so super quick last thoughts on this hockey game.
Man, that number 55 shots, that's when we get to regular season, that's something North Bay can't allow to be happening. But with that said, a lot of the shots were clear view through, keep the front of the net clear. But yeah, goaltending is going to be North Bay's big thing. If for somehow Dom defies the odds and ends up staying in Winnipeg, that's going to be a huge blow to North Bay.
Yeah.
If he's back, Nelson back, I think we're in for a good year.
Yeah,
with
for
the
sure.
young guys coming in to fill in those depth roles, like we're already talking. Like, where's Procession sitting? He could be a top 3 player, I think, or a top 6 player, but I don't think there's room for him there right now. And I think he gets another year to develop before he's in that role. But that bottom 6 is going to look real good again, I think.
Well, let's look ahead at the week ahead. Friday night, we have the Powassan game. Starts at 7 o'clock. Pregame roughly around 6:50. You can catch it there. Who are they playing, Ben? Do you know?
Blind River, I believe.
Blind River, there you go. I know because I believe you're calling that game as well.
It should be, yeah. I think so.
Either way, so you can catch that Friday night for more Voodoo's action, which was always a good time in that place. And thankfully, the Sportsplex not too cold this time of year.
It's been not good.
Still
they don't turn the heaters on because it's hot out. So.
Oh, great. Still a couple of weeks until we get to the home opener here. That won't be until the end of September. But in the meantime, you can always get your fix of the Frontline podcast where myself and Courtney Kenny will be talking. Hopefully we have a couple of good guests lined up, and that should be coming around somewhere around Thursday. So keep your eye out, your ear out for that as well. And, of course, thank you so much for watching here today. Again, the final 2-1. It's the Battalion winning in the shootout over the Owen Sound Attack in preseason game, their final home tune-up before the start of the season. For Ben Long, for Courtney Kenny and Harrison Clement, who are here helping us with the in between the periods intermissions, I'm Ben Sargent saying thank you very much for joining us. And, of course, we'll see you Friday night.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.